This conference will now be recorded.
Ladies and gentlemen, is the GM's report. We're going to see some missing data because we don't have the true financials. I gave you the last minute treasurer's report that Infomark just sent us. So honestly, other than you guys looking at the same time I'm looking at it, we're not going to vote on it today. Right. Because I need to review it and say, but I wanted you to have it for just reading pleasure. So there are two add-on products in there. And next month we'll vote on the treasurer's report for this month, the one you're reading. We're going to be behind a month because of the time. We can discuss it. It's not included anywhere. 80% of that is related. I will answer with officially. Okay. You'll get a copy of that answer. Okay. This is the first time Mr. Hornick individually reached out to me. All the correspondence we've had up until now has been with his lawyer, and it's all been positive, and we got an agreement, and we settled. All his numbers in there is from his lawyer. I didn't even create that. So it's just a very, he's frustrated because we're pressing him. We're pressing him accordingly, and he's frustrated. So we don't need to discuss it much today. Perfect. I'm going to acknowledge we received it as public comment, public session. We received the document that I'll vet and I'll produce a response. Okay. That we owe that to him, that we're acknowledging the reception.
Okay.
Perception of his problem.
Of that letter
His
stuff.
problem.
Yeah, yeah. Call the meeting to order. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody is here. The next regular meeting of the Board of Supervisors will take place Tuesday, December the 17th at 9 o'clock, not 5:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. At the Community Center, 3500 Edgewater Drive, Sebring, Florida, 33872. The key upcoming events, December the 2nd is the MGA Round Robin. December the 4th is the district Christmas tree lighting. Ooh, that's exciting. December the 4th is the WGA Christmas Scramble. December the 6th is the Sebring Parade from 5 to 9 o'clock. December the 7th is the MGA Christmas Couples. December the 7th is also where you can get your Santa pet pictures at the dog park between 1 and 2. December the 11th is the LGA Christmas Scramble. December the 11th is the Paint and Sip at the Community Center. 6 to 8, December the 13th is the Golf Cart Holiday Parade at the Island View Golf Parking Lot. That's at 6:30. December the 14th is the Merry Market here at the Community Center from 10 a.m. to 3 o'clock. December the 14th is also the Big Brothers Big Sisters Golf Tournament. December the 18th is the Holiday Light Display Judging. That's where they're going to judge the houses, Boz.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. And December the 20th is the district-wide Ugly Sweater Contest. The district will be closed for the Christmas holidays, December the 24th and the 25th. December the 28th through the 31st is the district, is the Citrus Golf Trail Ladies Invitational.
Say that real quick.
Yes, say that real quick. And that's a really good event, guys. We get some really good amateurs. They are trying to qualify for some other events that are here in the Central Florida area. So that's a good event. And December the 31st is the New Year's Eve party with fireworks at 9 o'clock. We're ready for public comments. The public comments will be limited to 3 minutes and may not be in our any public comment. You can go up to the mic.
Hello, my name's Karen Emery. I live at 5602 Matanzas Drive.
Mhm.
I've been a pool member. In fact, I just renewed my membership for a year, even though I'm departing mid-December. Today, our instructor is ill, so they canceled. We have prior been invited back to use that pool and do our own instructions from 9 to 10 when the pool opens to the public. We do our own instructions. We don't need an instructor. We all know CPR. We've all signed our own slip for any problems or litigation. Why is it, I'd like to know, that Nick and Mr. Fox, how we are allowed not to come into the pool starting today? We did it last week. We've done it for 6 years. I'd like to know the reason for the change.
Hey, Nick, can you handle this?
I
Can you go out?
certainly can. There was a push notification on the app that went out this morning saying the aqua class was closed.
Yeah.
The way they're closed, the pool hours are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
And that's why we
The-
come in at 9. No interference from children or others.
Absolutely. That class that opens at 9 o'clock, because I don't have a normal rec attendant on staff at that time, we have a contract instructor that's responsible for the facility. And when that instructor is not there, I have no one responsible for the facility, and that's how it works. It's a liability issue, it's a contract instructor issue, and I apologize for what had happened in the past, but that,
Yusuf's there. Yusuf's there. They've always had someone there. at
you
8
said is
a.m.
not a rec attendant, you said is a custodian.
She has been there to sign in people. She has been there representing this fine pool and the surrounding area.
You said's job when she's there in the morning
She
is to
is.
open the door for Gail so that Gail can monitor her class.
No, that's not true. We've had people in there, custodians and others, as early as 8, after 8. Please guide us through why you have staff there. We had hours extended in the summer. We are wanting to use the pool without interference of children and others.
Absolutely.
We
You
do our
offered
own-
from
we do
9
our own
9 a.m. to 10
aerobics.
a.m. when
Hey,
there's a
hey,
contract
hey,
instructor.
They say in the dialogue is public comment. I appreciate it, ma'am. Nick, can you please go outside? Ladies, go use the pool, and we're gonna sort this out, all right? We'll take care of it, please. All right, we're gonna sort this out. I can't promise you it's gonna continue, but I don't want this to stymie what we need to get done here business, all right? Please go use the pool. Nick, can you go deal with it? Make sure we got a rec center. We'll square it away. I mean, that,
Yoga instructor didn't show up today, so they canceled the yoga. and there was
Any
no
other public
yoga.
comment? I need a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I move to approve the Board of Supervisors minutes only. You mean because the golf financials and the treasure finances are not available.
that's all we need in minutes.
Am I on? I do have one question on page 2. It's not Balsam Street, it's Boston Street, isn't it?
Oh, in the minutes, you're saying, sir?
On the,
It should be Boston.
Minutes, on the
yeah,
minutes.
Yeah, we'll get that corrected. It's
right? It's
Boston Street.
Boston, isn't it?
Boston Street.
Yep,
That needs to be changed.
got it.
We need a second. Yes. Scott is not here.
They have their board meeting concurrently going on right now. We'll get
Okay.
with him afterwards. If you mind, I'll give you a quick update on these 3 projects that are being noted here. So we're continuing the discussion with the land acquisition, the 11 parcels that the district has asked that the county give back to us. We having a meeting with the county engineer on, they're wanting us to basically provide us the logic of why we need these 11 parcels rather than take us in good faith. So we're going to lay down our engineering plan, our wastewater plan. We're going to tell them why we need lift stations and so on. Check the block, and then I foresee those parcels coming back to us, but they're wanting us to go through that rigmarole. I've already told Mr. Way about station. No movement on that. Still struggling with the debris removal. We just started debris removal in the district last week, and will continue under the county contract. But this is the back entrance to Hilgustad or Duna Avenue, what you see on your screen there. So this is the U-Haul down south on Schumacher. The actual site we're settled on the site. That's actually county-owned parcels. One of those parcels is county-owned. One is Sun and Lake District. This is in the Unit 12 area. The site settled. This is a county project, county funding. I honestly, just in my discussions with the county waste management, until the hurricane debris project is over, he'll be able to put some energy into moving this forward. Probably by summer, we should have this project executed, county-run recycling center like the other 3 in the county. So it continues just at a slower progress than we need. And then the last, the ordinance changes. The last update, I provided an update to the supervisors earlier. The county attorney is asking us to consolidate all the language we want changed in our wording, and I'll be getting with Garrett on that. Previously, they said, just give us the thing, give us what you want done, and we will word it. Now they're saying, write it for us. I mean, it's one of these, we're just going back and forth with them. We're gonna follow what they're asking. So we're gonna get our language written on the ordinance changes. When it comes to the zoning changes, I had a meeting yesterday. There's some concern of the county that to do what we are asking for, to do holistic zoning changes from mixed use to residential and so on. There's a cost to that. There's public sessions, public meetings. They have to send mailers to all our 12,000 residents telling them we're changing some zoning. The county is concerned that that's a cost that's been unbudgeted for and not a burden they should take on. We are getting an idea of what that cost would be. We're finding out the right parties that do this in Florida. We can't do it here, but we'll find the right parties. And we will figure out that number. I'll bring it to you. And if it's truly us paying for it, then we will say, county, we're going to pay for it and we're going to get this done, but we need you to vote on it. I think it's just an interesting dynamic that they're making us go through a bunch of hoops, but it is what it is. It's government. So we'll keep pushing on our end. So we're going to work on that. We had a meeting yesterday, and it seems like in some areas of our zoning, they are willing to abdicate with clarifying the language on certain zoning categories. Under mixed use, example, under mixed use, there's some specifications that you've got to do. You can't put more than 2 structures. If you ask for commercial, you got to get permission from the Sun and Lake and so on. So I'd say make that clear, and you may be solving a lot of the problems we have. But right now, their staff is unclear. So having them clean up some language, so we may not have to go through a lot of this hoops to jump through. If they can just clean up their document, and the zoning document for county is about this big when you put it all together. So we're gonna keep pushing that. I'd say by probably January, if we want to go the route of doing rezoning as a project in the county or in the district, I'll have numbers for you and a progress. I'm hoping in between now and then we have some fruitful meetings with the county to address some of our other issues. And Mr. Kerouac will be involved. Yeah.
I have
Yes, sir.
2 questions.
Yeah.
The cost that you're looking at to go around the county, do you have any idea ballpark? What
Usually, I've written rezoning documents in 2 municipalities from scratch. The biggest cost is the council, outside council, and I even had this talk with Garrett yet. Outside council to review some of the language in zoning. Cost-wise, it's probably for our size, the type of document we would have to write, probably in the 50 to 100K. I'll just worst case it. Honestly, it's that much, because there's also a cost of all the public sessions and the mailings we have to send out to everybody. Everyone needs to be notified. Your zoning may be changing, and this is what it's changing to. There's a large cost in that, but it's mainly, we're going to have multiple public comment sessions for input, counter statements, stuff, and that consumes time. A large portion of it is legal counsel to review the project. So I'm worst casing it, but I'm trying to get the Florida guys and gals that do this to give us their estimates. So
Eventually, let's assume we went through the process. Eventually, it would still have to go to the county for their approval,
yes,
correct?
yes,
Which means that they would have to vote on it.
yep.
Do we get any assurances up front that it would pass?
No, we don't.
No.
Or we could
No, we
just
don't.
pay 50,000 and they could tell us to drop dead?
That's the chance, the risk we would take going down this road. If we check that block that they're asking us to do and we invest, we do it, we give them the product and say, here it is, please vote on it. Yeah, all it takes is 3 of them to say no, and we've lost our money and we sit. So there's a risk to that.
I still think it's something that has to be done. We cannot,
I know, but I'd hate to go through the process and then they say, sorry. Then what we do? Then we're just, is that it?
Go ahead. Yeah.
The first thing, with respect to creating a new zoning category for Sun and Lake, our firm does all that work. We represent the newest municipality in Florida, Indiantown, over in Martin County. We just reworked their whole land development code. We have extensive experience in building those products. It might be useful at the end of developing that product to turn it over to an engineer or planning firm to review it and to provide input on that product. It might be a couple $1,000, maybe $10,000, but not any more than that. To get a new zoning category approved, it'd have to go through the local planning agency, which for Highlands County is their planning board. So there would be an opportunity to comment. Folks, members of the public can go there. That's sort of where the product gets refined at the county level. So their planning board would have an opportunity to review it. Folks can go provide comments. Because the zoning category would only impact the district, I think as long as Sun and Lake folks were approving of it, I don't see why it would have any negative repercussions down the road, because then it's just another zoning category for county staff to work with. So,
So there's no way to find out. We could go, what I don't want to see, what I would hate to see, is that we go through 9, 10, 12 months, whatever it is, spend X amount of dollars, and the county tells you to take a jump.
what would maybe be helpful is to see if there are any sorts of requirements or things that county staff would have a
I
hard
guess what
time.
I'm asking, can we go
recommending.
to the county and see if there's get any assurances or
Yeah.
try to get an assurance?
Yeah,
that
just,
if we go through this, it would be worthwhile?
yeah, that would be a good starting point. See what's off limits. And
We can ask at the staff level up to the administrator if there's some assurances of their support in it. They're the ones directing us this way. So I'm taking that as,
Positive.
You have
Yeah.
a lot more faith in the county.
they don't want to pay for it. That's their bigger hangup. They don't want to pay for it because they know it's going to cost money. To Garrett's point, you're exactly right. It's just impacting Sun and Lake. And if we hold all the public sessions, we get all the feedback, and we provide it to the planning commission, they're not having to struggle with that. They're not having to argue why you all want to change a zoning category like they have to argue for the other residents of Highlands County. So I think it's to our benefit. It would really have to be a very vindictive, honestly, process for them if we brought it to them and they said, no, we don't want to entertain this. When our residents want it, you all vote on it, we've staffed it, we've checked all the blocks. That'd be a hard thing to do and very bureaucratic infighting that I hope we wouldn't get to that point. We could.
This is from the guy who's thinking about taking the garbage pickup away from the county.
That's true too, yes, sir.
I mean, you guys gotta be very careful on what you're trying to do here. I'm just,
Gotcha.
for what it's worth.
Yep.
I got one other question. The rule changes that we wanted as far as garbage collection
Yeah.
and all, did that ever get approved?
No, that was part of this.
That's only been 2.5, 3 years.
Yes, sir. Their legal counsel is asking for a consolidation in different language. I got to get it to Garrett. He's got to produce
On
it.
the garbage stuff?
On the
Or-
garbage pickup code thing. Well, no, they were something approved a few months ago when it comes to how long your cans can stay out. That's been approved, and we've
Yeah.
adjusted our code for that.
And the election stuff has been approved?
And the election stuff has been approved. You're talking about the other bits we sent to them.
Right.
They're wanting those to be, rather than piecemeal, they would like them all in one big chunk to change their codes for us at one time. So that's probably another 60 days with us to get the language right, and then we'll dump it on them. And then I'm hoping that also gets expedited because now we've done their work for them. We wrote it for them.
Okay, thank you.
So we're moving forward on the county stuff.
On the 5/3 bank payoff,
So in your packet, you have we talked this last month. The board directed us to go back to Fifth Third. This is the bond that's on about 140 parcels remaining in the district, a $10+ million bond many years ago. We went back to the bank. We've been in discussions. The board authorized up to 650. We got them at a 630 number. So 630 settles this to our benefit, relieving us and relieving any past, current, and future bond responsibilities on the district's part. We would, I don't want to use the wrong language here. We would They would deliver the note to us. We would own the note,
Deliver the what?
the note,
Notes.
the bond note.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
so, and we have a tracking mechanism on all the parcels that shows the principal, the interest and everything. So that would just be maintained in our archive for our use once we own the note. All right, so our ability to compensate or reclaim some of the funding, separate discussion, we'll work on that. We'll provide you our initiative to get some of the money of this 630 back from those 140 people or parcels. But I think it's very positive. They went down from a multi-million-dollar number to the 630. We've slapped the table on it. Their councils go with it. Their departments go with it. We have some language in a legal document that Garrett's reviewing right now. What I would ask is this initiative, we get the concurrence of the board, a vote to approve the 630 number. And then once the final document comes back to us, we call Ms. Beverly, you come sign it, we're done. And then Fifth Third is out of the district business forever. So, questions?
We've prepared a settlement agreement, and also our special counsel for assessments, Chris Rose, also taking a look at it. There's some interesting things at play. You might recall his firm was actually the law firm that the district hired originally during the 2006 note issuance, the 2010 refinancing. So they had some background that was very helpful in working through. I sent the agreement to Fifth Third's counsel last week. I guess the individual with the bank who was supposed to review the agreement in advance of today's meeting had jury duty this week and has not been able to review it. That's why you don't have a final agreement in your possession now. But the language is very simple. It's a full release of all claims that they might bring against the district for failure to repay, for waiving certain assessments. That's the real issue here. It's pennies on the dollar of the original loan. I think the $10 million refinancing 2 years later, 3 years later, only about 800,000 was paid off. And since then, many millions has been lost because they were not collected in time. So this brings us current. The note will be delivered to the district. We have an opportunity at that point to foreclose on certain properties that have become delinquent. And rather than foreclosing for the benefit of the bank and collecting the money for the bank, it'll be foreclosing for the district's benefit, collecting money for the district to repay this figure. So
We're asking for a motion.
I find it distasteful. I think it's the right path. We have to get out of this business.
I agree.
We're
Any
asking
other
for a motion to approve the payout amount of 630 to be signed at the president's leisure once we get the final document. The language won't change in the documents.
Do we have any public comment on this subject? Yes, sir.
oh,
Yeah,
if-
you
if-
gotta
if
come
you-
to the mic. Yeah, please do. Okay.
I just had a quick question. Where are we getting the 630 to pay this off? Where's the money coming from?
Coming from our reserves, our
Our reserves.
operational reserves, sir. Yep.
Operation reserves.
Later in this meeting, you'll see a summary of our financials that will directly show you where the money's coming from and where is it going.
Okay.
Yep.
And how much of this 630 do you anticipate getting back?
Yeah, I think it's too early in the game to see how much. It's based on the ability of those 140 parcels. Are they willing to negotiate and work with us? Or are they truly just walking away from their parcel? And we as a district will acquire them. Obviously, we won't get anything there. So it's really based on once we're in the driver's seat to be the negotiator.
Go to the
we'll
Board
be
of
able to-
Supervisors,
I
Now,
think
once we,
right there, right? There's that little circle, Board of Supervisors.
We don't need these for district
Yep,
business.
click there. And then click Agendas and Minutes on the left-hand side.
conservatively, I think 200.
And then on that, right underneath Agendas and Minutes, it should say like go to a link, top, yep, right there in the end. Yep, right there.
That I have little babies at home, and so how does this meeting work? When are we allowed to talk?
There was a chance at the beginning, ma'am. I'll leave it up to the president if you wanted.
We were discussing this and we have a motion on the floor and we need to take a vote and then you can come up and
Okay, thank you.
you're more than welcome.
We're good. Asking for a motion.
We-
I move to approve the amount of 630,000 to resolve the issue with Fifth Third Bank bond.
I call for discussion.
And to authorize the president to execute a,
And to authorize the president to sign such agreement once it is presented at the proper time.
very good, thank you.
When approved by council.
Are you done?
When approved by council.
Second.
Thank you.
Discussion among the board? Call for the vote?
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks,
Yes.
President Phillips.
Yes. Okay, before we go to this, where'd she go? There you are. Your
I-
name, please,
Karen Wilson,
and you live here in Sun Lake?
Yes.
Okay,
Your address?
5109 Balmore Drive.
thank
Okay.
you.
So the first thing that I want to address is, I'm not sure, I live in the preserve, but apparently one side of the street is in the preserve and the other side of the street is not. So I'm governed under the preserve homeowners, and we have, violations, color the house and all of that. Now these builders are coming in, ruining our street and just building whatever they want. So it's depreciating my home's value because what they're building is so much smaller than the homes on the preserve side. And so one half of the road is, the preserve, and the other side of the road, it's no homeowners fee or no homeowner association. And so they're putting fences up and they're painting these ugly colors, and it's very disturbing.
That's why we've been fighting with the county over zoning. The zoning is approved by the county, and
Not
our
us.
hands are tied. That's why
Oh.
you're getting that side. It's not under our control, but that's what we're trying to obtain.
That's what we're trying to do.
But right now, unfortunately, you're experiencing the same thing as we are experiencing in many areas of the district. Most of it is not in HOA, but for some reason those streets were carved out of the HOA agreement, and therefore they can build as long as they meet the county's requirements.
Wow.
It's a
Yeah.
combination of zoning issues, building permitting issues, HOA issues. What I would ask Jamal is going to get your direct contact information, let you get back to your kids, take care of them.
No, and I have another.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I have
But
another
it's a
question.
longer discussion, ma'am, about HOAs and whatnot. We'll have that with you. Yep.
No, well, this is on a different topic.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Yep.
So I have to pay fees to Sun and Lake, which are crazy. I just got a bill for $401 for a vacant lot that's just sitting vacant, nothing on it. And that's just very, very expensive. That's more expensive than property taxes. So what am I paying for?
You-
The party, the
You're-
50th anniversary party that you had?
No, ma'am.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're paying for the roads and infrastructure and everything that comes along. And it's not just you, it's,
There's an assessment.
yeah, there's an
appeal
assessment.
committee
Yeah,
That you should
that
go
you
to.
should go to the appeal committee for your assessment. They handle that.
When is that meeting? Do we
Every
have-
year, it's December 13th. Every year you can appeal your assessment, specifically what you're mentioning there. A board of citizens and one supervisor will be on that. They'll hear your case and they'll either support it or recommend denial.
And when's that?
December 13th.
December
And again,
13th.
Jamal can also get you the information on that, ma'am.
And
Yep. We'll get you the information.
then so I have to sign up for it?
Yes.
Yes, you have to submit
Mhm.
a paper saying you request appeal. We'll make sure you're squared away on that.
And where is that
It's
gonna
at
be
the
here?
district office.
Oh.
We'll do it in our conference room. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to disturb your meeting. I
No,
appreciate your
no
time.
problem,
Take care of it.
no problem. Jamel, we'll get your information. No worries.
We can move on to the streetlight item.
Okay,
P.
streetlights.
All right, so this has been an ongoing discussion. We've authorized internal to the budget our streetlight program to add streetlights. We're putting them in certain areas of the district now under Duke Power. Based on the cost of Duke Power, we wanted to find a different alternative. We reached out to Sustainability Partners, which is providing our water meter project, and they provided us a solar option for 122 lights. We are getting a sample of 3 to place in the Pebble Beach area, the west side of the golf course, to do a test of this for the couple months to see the density, the illumination. Once we are satisfied with that model, then we will go to the whole 122. So we'll basically have 125 lights out there. It's in the budget, and the way this model pays out or is costing, as you see there, is there's no large upfront cost. There's a monthly cost, which is tied to our current budget. And there's a long-term cost for a period of 7 years is roughly the number. I compare the top and the bottom there. SP is what we would pay for the 122 under this program. After 7 years, we have the ability to either continue with SP as the manager of it, or we have satisfied the contract and we can move on to maintaining these lights on our own. These will be static lights, and there's a picture of them. Static light with a solar option that if the solar option defaults after time, after warranty, we're able to replace that, but we're not having to rewire anything. So it's something that the district could maintain in perpetuity once we acquire them and install them. So that's where you see the major difference between us using the Duke Power option, where large upfront cost, over $500,000 they would want from us tomorrow if we said do the same thing. And then there's the ongoing electrical costs, and it's forever. We can never get out of it, otherwise they turn the lights off. Here, if we told SP to walk away, the lights still work, we own them, we maintain them, and the lights are there. No one's going to take them away. But Duke Power doesn't have that option. So it's a lot better on the bottom line for us as a district. We take ownership of it. We have a reputable company that manages it for us. You see there's some schematics that are a little bit hard to see, but that's the actual light and how you can have 3 options of settings. We would err on the area and wide road setting for what we need, so it washes light on the length, but also covers the road. That's what that area, that's what that saturation's for. So it would meet the need of our district road network, and it would satisfy that. The area that we're placing them would be everything in red. So for the 125 lights, we actually get an expanded area into the preserve, I call it, area. I'm sorry, not the preserve, Deer Run. So the community of Deer Run, there's some existing lights in there. We would also do the Pebble Beach area, so we would be spreading all the lights out through there. That'd be phase 1 of this for this 125 lights. And then the areas in black, the areas in green, the ABC streets and the black area there would be future projects, be they solar, be they Duke Power. We would just go down that road every budget year and figure out how we expand it. The good thing about the solar, it's not tied to the current network, so you can mix in, if there's Duke Power on that street, you can slap in a solar intermittently. Doesn't impact it. It's the same quality of lighting, and it doesn't need Duke Power's approval or hookup. So we can intermix these. So that's a good option why solar is better for it. These are 10+ year warranted items. For the light themselves, the model themselves, they have longer warranty on the solar panels and the batteries and that type of stuff. So I'm comfortable on that side of it. The light itself is that type model, a metal pole that will be installed into the ground. It's a singular feature. So where some models are, the solar panel is separate from the light. If one breaks, you got to swap everything. It's very cost consuming. This one, if there's a replacement needed, we just replace the whole head at a minimum cost. We're not having to mess with the pole. This was an initial schematic of where the lights would go graphically. So you see there's the south side is the Deer Run, the interior circle there's the golf course, and then you see the north side of, or the west side of Pebble Beach. That's all the lights going out to Cortez and beyond. So for this, we get a good spread based on the type of light this is. It gives us a good 400 foot swap. I think it's a win-win. It energizes not only that community cheaply for a much more reasonable cost. but it's easy to maintain once we, either we use a vendor, sustainability, or we maintain them a lot better for us. So, it's really not, you're approving the contract and duration of 775. That's for the 7-year window. That's why it needs to come to the board. But the way it's paid out, the way we're going to do this monthly, it's already in our budget. So I don't have to find $775,000 somewhere. We're only paying X amount per month that we already budgeted for in our lighting budget.
You want to do this before you look at them? Before you put the
Well,
3 up?
we bought the 3
Okay,
already. We're going to install the 3. I think we need, regardless of the model, and Mike's here, you can talk, regardless of the model we go to, I'm actually going to hold you to it. It's going to stay at 7075. Yes. So irregardless of the model of light,
okay,
we're static on the number. He's going to
Okay.
eat it if he has to, and that's how it works.
Okay.
So
okay.
yes, I will keep it at 122. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
It rains for 4 days in a row.
If it rains 4 days in a row.
So it rains 4 days in a row and there's no sun.
We can do a lot of things, but we can't provide power from nowhere. So in that kind of case, the lights will not work. I think they have about a 12-hour holding period or battery, but they don't need it doesn't have to be a bright day like today to power them.
Yeah.
So it will charge fully
Yes,
under normal
yes,
circumstances.
it will charge fully even in a cloudy day, and that's why we're gonna run a test. I mean, I don't think it'll rain for 4 days in a row during our test, but if it rains, they are solar powered lights. There are other solutions where you can add a wind turbine to lights as well to sort of mitigate that, but now the solution is getting more wonky and more expensive. So we're doing the best that we can because it's prohibitively expensive to put in, normal street lights and integrate them into the Duke network, outside of Duke doing it. And if Duke does it, you're going to be waiting a long time. So
there are
this is
some
kind of the best
management tools that come with, because of technology, solar as well as this light, where if we see as the district that there's a long period of darkness, we're actually able to monitor that and reduce the time it lights for a period of time. So we could just have the light come on from dusk or, from sunset to midnight,
Mhm.
and we can actually shut them off, saving the battery to extend its life. And we would control that by a phone, actually, with this system. So that's a lot better. Yeah, well, that means we're shutting the lights off at midnight, but right now we have no lights.
Yeah.
So it'd be a lot better, and we would control that management. So to your point, I think we can accommodate that just based on the technology of this type of light. I can't do that with Duke Power. Granted, they'll always run, but also Duke Power goes out too, and there's no
Yeah.
lights.
And you can also adjust the area that they project over
yeah,
as well. So that's another way to sort of to pilot the
How-
energy savings.
How strong is this if we get a hurricane? Are we going to lose all of them?
No, it should be the same as your other streetlights.
Okay.
So it should be
Because that
able to
looks
withstand.
awful. little.
Yeah, they're more durable than what that looks like.
Okay.
And like I say, once we get the 3 lights installed, it'll be a test area. We'll notice it. We'll get you all out there to
Okay.
watch them. We'll do the different settings, wide area, so on, and see which one makes sense. And if this ain't the model, we go to the next model. But at least
Okay.
then he's able to start proceeding to acquire stuff that we need. So
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sustainability is shown to be a very good company to work with. They were in charge of the meter program and did an excellent job on site. Good project management, came in, and everything works the way it's supposed to work.
I
So
agree.
I think I'm very much in favor of improving and getting us some streetlights that we don't have right now.
Okay.
I just have a couple of questions.
Yep.
Explain to me, it's going to cost us around $780,000 after 7 years, 7 months.
Okay.
Right? So the next column, it says over 10 years. What does that mean?
after the 7th, let's say we ended the contract after 7 years, 7 months. After that, I've already built in the potential for replacing certain amount of lights every year under us. We would buy them, sustainability's gone, let's say, we would buy them. So that recurring number all the way out is us worst casing it to replace certain lights if we see batteries failing, lights failing.
Oh,
Just
so
regular
this is-
maintenance.
The over 10 years, over 15, over 20 is if we don't continue the program.
If we don't continue to you're exactly right. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Answer me this one. Once paid off, we moved to $50,000 annual replacement fee.
Yes.
I thought that if we continue with them, is that still $50,000?
No, that's if we buy out the contract. We buy out after
So
7
that's
years,
also
7
if
months.
we buy out the contract.
What are you referring to, sir? I'm sorry.
Well, it says, once paid off, we move to a $50,000 annual replacement fee, which says 10 lights. So I'm assuming that it's going to cost us $50,000 a year going after the 7, or?
After the warranty runs out, I would assume.
Well, warranties, 3-year warranty. I mean, what I'm asking, I
Yeah.
don't understand it.
So the
You're trying
difference
to
is
say.
if the cost monthly is like $8,500.
It costs 85.
Yeah, 8,500.
Right.
So if we sign up with sustainability, we ride them out for indefinite 20 years, it's 8,500 by month for 20 years.
Right. I got that.
But I wanted to show the buyout plan that after 7.5, we satisfied the contract. After 7.5 years, we have paid them exactly what's on the contract. We have the ability to continue with them if we're satisfied, or to say, thank you very much, we're moving on to the next project. We will maintain them on our own. That's where it drops from the 8,500 to just a $50,000 a year. My utility department starts replacing them on our own.
Oh, so that whole box is also
Yes.
if we don't continue it.
Yes, yeah.
I couldn't.
If we continue, it's the regular 100K a year forever. If we don't, we drop it in half because we're maintaining them.
No price increases? I mean, it's good, right? I mean, it's not going to be 85, 40 for 20 years. Yeah. I mean, which is fine. I mean, just don't say it's going to be, because it's not. Does this mean we can't have coffee later?
So, yeah, as you guys are familiar with the meter program, we try to give you the infrastructure in perpetuity. And what we're trying to model in giving you the infrastructure in perpetuity would be the cost of replacing the lights as they break. They have a 10-year warranty, but there's going to be, there will be issues, right? The poles might not have a 10-year warranty. Someone might run over a pole, things like that. So we're trying to model it so that we can give you the lights in perpetuity. Now, 10 years from now or 20 years from now, if all the lights have to be replaced, then your payment technically could go up because the cost of those lights is going to be more 20 years from now because of things like inflation, right? So the monthly payment can change like it can with the meter, but what we're trying to do is model in all of the maintenance fees and all of the cost of the lights, of amortizing the lights over their useful life, to give you a monthly payment that is not exactly identical, but steady, so to speak, and take the volatility out of that monthly payment.
But after 3 years, it says 3-year warranty. So after 3 years,
10-year
oh, that's if we don't go forward.
There's
In 3 years, if we put these up and they break, something happens, you replace them at no cost.
Yes, that's right. In 3 years, if they're still under the warranty, then we will work with the manufacturer to
In
get the
5
lights
years,
replaced.
what does that mean?
That same thing.
So for the first, until we pay the 7 years off, you cover everything.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And after 7 years, if you wanna take us out of the equation, you can.
But
Right, just
between
like with the
all-
water
up to
meters.
those 7 years, if there's a problem with the lights, you fix them at no cost
Right.
to us.
Right, absolutely. And if you want to keep us after the 7 years, we will continue on that program of making the infrastructure turnkey for you.
Okay.
The easy button on the infrastructure, so to speak.
Thank you.
You compare it to the meters, the only reason our monthly changes because we add meters. A meter breaks. I go to him, I say, I've added 50 meters. I need to buy 50 more. So that our monthly adjusts. In this scenario, unless I come back and say, Michael, give me another 10 lights, or someone just ran 4 light poles down, that's where we could see a change in the billing. More than likely not because it's covered, But that's where well, definitely if we add it, we're gonna see a change. But if under the 122, there's just regular maintenance that his guys are doing, it's baked into that number. It's gonna be a very static monthly bill.
Who installs these?
His company?
Miller Electric.
Miller Electric, I'm sorry.
Miller Electric. So
Yep.
we're gonna have Miller Electric install the lights. We do a lot of work with Miller. They're the Jacksonville-based company or a Jacksonville headquartered electric company, but they're a nationwide company. They work in something like 43 of the 50 states. So they were very helpful in us spec'ing some other projects and this project as well. So we will have Miller Electric, just like we had Fortiline managing the water meter project. We will have Miller Electric sort of taking the lead on the installation on these jobs, and we will be working with them to make sure that the lights are put in the right way.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So since this is internal to our budget, but I think we need to be on the record, your support of this, since it's a contract of 775,000.
Exactly.
So it doesn't say there in motion, but I think having a motion to approve the sustainability contract for 775 would give us the right top cover to execute a plan with them and moving forward. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Any public comment? Okay.
Morning, good to see you all. It's Robert Edlow, 3716 Pontino. I usually come to almost every meeting. What was the main purpose of installing these lights? Was it a safety issue for cars plus crime deterrent?
Mainly safety. We're a planned community that advocates street lighting, and we are not living up to that, so we're trying to catch up.
Okay.
Yep.
Now that these are going to be installed on a timely basis, I always see the future. How are you going to accrue money back? As residents, we already got the sewage treatment plan coming up, improvement on roads. Now we got lights. Are the lights going to be passed on to residents, the cost?
This is inside our operational budget, sir.
Okay.
We advocate, we set aside annually money for street lighting. This will just be internal to that. So it's part of your assessment, but there's not going to be a special assessment or a special charge if we add a bunch of lights.
Okay. Thank
Not
you
with
very
this
much.
program.
Have a good day.
Morning, Carlos Navarro, 4955 San Ignacio. I moved out here 2 years ago from the electrical power industry, nuclear, and I just want to give some comment. I think it's a great idea. So we're installing lighting. I feel that solar is a good option. My only feedback for consideration is maybe, I don't know whether you have this or not, to do a cost comparison analysis between solar and Duke Energy, but there are pros and cons with solar. And one of the benefits from solar is, of course, we're not dependent on the grid. So that's a major plus. And maybe for consideration at what category that was brought up earlier, Cat 1, 2, or 3 for the actual structure, because we have been having frequent hurricanes come through here. So that's another consideration. But overall, thank you for taking the time and adding solar to our community, and also lighting, which is very needed, I feel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more question for Mike, I guess. Once we execute the contract, what's the timeframe?
The lights are 4 to 6 weeks out in, ordering and lead time. So we're now waiting for the 3 sample lights, to install them. I would think they can, there's 122 lights. They've got to be able to put in at least 3 a day. So, you're going to install those over a month or 2, right? So, I would say, 6 weeks plus a month, right, is 2.5 months. So just to manage expectations, sort of a 3-month time frame from the time that we say, okay, let's do this. We also need a little bit of time to do the engineering, right? The sort of plans that Boz showed you were sort of indicative, right? We haven't gone to Miller and said, okay, we're doing this project with you. Send engineers out to make sure we're putting a light in the right location everywhere. So the number may change, or the number we suggest may change. It doesn't have to, but we may say, well, actually on this street, you don't need 3, you need 4. On this other one, you only need 2. But I would say, 3.5 months maybe from the time we really get the notice to proceed for the actual project.
Thank you.
Okay.
That gentleman brought up a good point. To what category, hurricane category, are these resistance to?
I don't know the category, but I know that they will be, I asked this question of Miller, and they will be equal to the streetlights that you have now.
Okay.
So
We
whatever
don't-
you're
we don't
getting
lose
from
money.
Duke, these will be an equivalent.
Mm.
Miller understands very well that we're in Florida and that hurricanes are a consideration. And so I didn't ask for the category, but I said, will these stand up to the same types of storms that the, traditional streetlights will stand up to? And the answer that I got was yes.
In this model also, if you look at there's a yellow document in your packet, the specs on this specific model, it actually goes to the 150-degree range for heat. So we picked a model that was more erring on the side of heat rather than freezing temperatures, and that changes the dynamics of the quality of the solar panels and so on. It's really going to come down to that. If you look at the map, the schematic right there shows basically a street light every 6th house. That's where we got 122. When Miller gets here, we do our test case. We may shrink that a little bit because we want coverage, or we may say that's totally satisfactory, go to every 7th house or whatnot, because if you look at the specs, it shows there's a 100-foot lighting swath between lights. So if I have a light and then 400 feet, 200, so on, I think it's really going to take, the test is going to determine the total number. We're going to cap it at 122 for that price, but if there's a different phase of this, then I'll bring back to you all that we're not going to do past Cortez. We're not going to waste those lights on those 2 streets past Cortez. That'll be a future project. I want to move those lights into the Pebble Beach area, the Deer Run area where more people live. So we can adjust a little bit.
So go ahead. I'm sorry, Beverly, please.
And we'll still have the Duke lights.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah. In
This
this
is just
area, there's
in
probably,
addition to.
yes, in this area, there's probably 20 Duke lights
Uh-huh.
spread out in there. They stay, they're being paid for separately.
Okay.
This is just additional amplifies our lighting program.
Okay.
And I would just say that there's, as Boz was saying, there's kind of two ways you can adjust the density, right? You can increase the number of lights, or you can decrease the area that you're covering. So that's why we want to put in these 3 test lights to really understand the density that we'll have. And then we also got to get Miller out here to look at the Duke lights that are there and do a good survey of that so that we know the lights that's there.
Okay. Thank you.
We just need a motion to approve the sustainability partner contract for 775 after legal review. And then we'll move out that way and start getting the lights on orders.
I'll move to approve sustainability partner lighting contract for no more than $800K for the installation of 122 solar lights pending council's approval.
Yeah, we just need 775. That's
I
fine.
can say 770?
Yes, sir.
I'll pay 775 then.
Thank you
No
for
more
your
than
generosity.
775.
I second.
Discussion. Board?
The only comment I have is, I've had solar lights in the past. I've never seen one last 7 years. But if they have a warranty for 7 years, we should expect them to expire right after that.
Yes, sir.
Call the vote, please.
Supervisor McLaughlin,
Yes.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
President Phillips.
Yes.
Okay, thank you much.
Okay, that one's done.
We'll move on to item H is our budget summary. So this is not an official budget amendment discussion. That'll be next month since we're finishing up our audit with Inframark for 2024. And then we'll bring to you where we ended 2024 with money that rolls over, that type stuff. But what I did want to do is summarize simply at our level, our accounting level, where we stood from 2024's budget. So the totality of it, you see there, the revenue collected and the expenses for the year gave us a positive across the district. Then we break it down. We only execute about 87% of our payroll. And that's because we have some positions that we left unfilled, or we just managed overtime properly and so on. So that was very well done by all the departments. Our operational accounts right now, without the auditor, ended the year in the positive of 2.8. So for the good of the group, the operational accounts is all the money we use to buy things throughout the year. At the end of 2024, September 30th, there was still $2.8 million in there after we paid all our bills. So that's a good thing. That means we don't spend down to the penny and we're having to wait for next year. So we ended for 2.8. That's what we'll bring to you next month with a budget amendment, because based on our charter, we are required to do certain things with that end of year excess, and it's directed by the board. So I owe you that once the auditor tells me what's that true number. If it may be just shy of that, it may be more than that. We'll figure that out. Our reserve accounts, this is all our strategic, operational, savings accounts, ended the year at 6.9 million. We started the year at 3 million, so we're all clear. So we invested in ourselves throughout the year a bunch of money, rightfully so, and very well on the part of the board decisions, and I appreciate that, helping invest in ourselves. Now I broke it down by the 4 categories there: our general operations, which is basically the district, our golf, our restaurant operations, and then our utility operations. All 3 in the positive, yes, at varying levels, but all 3 in the positive. In that box, we have a golf, we have a restaurant. They stand on their own. They made some money last year, but collectively, as the operation of golf, restaurant, clubhouse, when you add the overhead, you add the management, the custodians, that's where you ended the year up with a totality of $10,000 profit for that enterprise. So you see a lot of money made, 2.9 million, 1.5 million, a lot of money made, a lot of money spent, and we ended on a positive note, but not a lot, but at least it's positive. So it's self-sustaining. So that's good news. The red stuff is just because we did not physically move money from our reserves to pay for some of our operational expenses. We paid the bills, so that's not the case. On the books, we didn't do a fourth quarter amendment. You see that being in red. But that was projects authorized, the golf course, the greens. We authorized it, we spent it, we paid it out of some of our reserves. We just did not physically move the money with the last quarter amendment. So on paper it shows red, but we are not $700,000 in the negative, because to my point above, we ended the year with $2.8 million. So it's just a bookkeeping process there. To the right, we exceeded revenue expectations by 12%. We didn't charge more. Granted, we had a 5% increase in assessment. Well, not this year. Well, yeah, I'm sorry. 24, we did do 5% increase. We had a 5.2% increase in utilities, so we did that. But the majority of that 12% overage in revenue was the FEMA money we got, some insurance money we reclaimed, some grant money we reclaimed, fines, penalties, estoppels, so on and so forth. So that was good news. Now, we over-executed 16% of our budget, but that was because we had about $1 million of what I would call unanticipated emergencies. Sun Lake Boulevard, asbestos pipes busting, that type stuff. So yes, we're going to have more unknown expenses, so that definitely hurts us. And to my point, we increased our reserves by 91%. Very simple summary. We deep dive into the golf operations. That's where I said you have 2 departments. Golf, restaurant, I split it up that way. But then there's about $1 million floating in what I call general admin marketing. That's the custodians, that's the marketing department, that's the management, that type stuff. So that there's no revenue being generated there. That's pure overhead. That's where we, moving forward, will refine. I call it take the scalpel. We'll look at how we can do cost savings in there to reduce that, as well as cost savings in the other 2 departments as well, and expenses for golf and restaurant operations. Comments here on the bottom, pretty simple. We without the closure of our course for 4 months, we definitely would have seen a large outtake in income for restaurant and clubhouse. But we shut down for 4 months, and we shut down 18 holes. And we have the data to support that that's what we would have made, $350K, by leaving those holes open for those 4 months, and vice on the restaurant. So There's about 400,000 on the table that we did not acquire because we shut down operations. Totally appropriate. We accepted that when we went down that road, but it kind of paints the picture of the $10,000 profit more than likely would have been a little bit higher with full operations for the year. The true test will be this year. Food sales, you see that the operating costs remain the same during that time frame. Same staff, same golf team, greenskeepers and so on, same restaurant staff, even with the closure, same folks running the operation. So we would not have seen a major uptick in just by shutting down or opening those courses up. It would have been the same. So I'm not worried about that cost would have spiked if we would have been open. So that's a good thing to know that we truly just lost pure revenue that we could have gained. The only thing that obviously we didn't account for is the food we would have bought that we didn't use that we closed. But everything else would have been the same. So any questions on golf? And I guess to the point that the recurring comment I get from residents, staff, a golf restaurant collaboration, municipal run operation generates for this district about $4.5 million. It's not chump change. It generates that. We spend a lot, granted. That's what you charge the staff to do, to refine that, to get that down to an acceptable level so we're profitable and we're not dipping into Sun and Lake money to support this enterprise like was done many years in the past. So it's a good thing. It's positive. It can only get better, and we will manage the costs moving forward. When it comes to the reserves, any questions on that before I move on? Sorry. I know you have a question, Mr. Brooks. Bring it on. Come on. All right. Yeah, go ahead, sir. Yeah.
You want me to come up?
Yeah,
with
go
one?
ahead. No,
I
go
can
ahead.
see.
You want to go back to that one? You
Well,
wanna
we
talk
made
that?
10,000, which was 190,000 short of what it was the year before.
You are correct. Yes.
There's my comment.
There you go. Yes. Our reserves is self-explanatory. We started the year with 3.3. We invested 3.3 million. We were getting on average based on financial policies of this management of the district. I will not throw that burden on the board. That is strictly the management of the district and the finance people and the folks prior to our here. I'm not going to throw a dart at them other than saying they did not take full advantage of the interest abilities of this district. We, in 1 year, went from about $80,000 to $90,000 of interest to over $300,000 of free money from banks to help us. That's buying trucks, that's buying people, that's investing in ourselves, fixing sidewalks, free money. And we'll continue to take advantage of that as our reserves grow. And we'll just take full advantage of the free interest, the interest that banks are giving us in this good economy. And then the comments there, we've reset some departments, shuffled the deck a little bit when it comes to who is in charge of certain things, permitting. We pulled HR separately so we can see the cost for doing HR type operations. Great progress on recollecting some past due money. Cost of goods is a concern of mine across the district in what we're buying for food, for vendor material in the pro shop, that type of stuff. So I'm charging Mike. We got to refine that and get that down to an acceptable level. That's still quality food and still quality items, but we got to really watch our pennies there. And we had over $1 million in unexpected expenses, and you all dealt with that throughout the year. Sir.
Just on a side note, the golf committee reported there was an event that the food wasn't up to expectations.
I think it was.
And they were told that the price determined the quality of the food. At least that's what was reported. What's that all about?
Yeah.
That's
I
what,
heard that comment last
am I
night.
correct?
Yeah.
That's what the report said, I believe.
No. Yeah, so there was a committee member that had brought that to the table, and then the rest of the committee actually said no, that the quality of the food and everything was far exceeded their expectations, and that was retracted. Now, on the expense side of things, what controlled the price point was the price point that the MGA wanted to pay for their event controlled what they purchased. It was not of a quality situation. It was just determined what steak option they chose, and they chose a 4-ounce steak with 4 ounces of shrimp instead of a 12-ounce ribeye. So it was not a quality thing. It was they were trying to hit a price point that they were comfortable with their members paying for that event.
Oh, I'll just say if something comes out in writing to the membership and it's not correct, it should be corrected and reprinted. I read the report, that's what the report said. And if it was inaccurate, it should have been corrected. Otherwise, how do you know?
Yeah, the specific issue came up last night, referring to this specifically by a resident that was, I think, on that committee.
Oh.
I haven't had a chance to sit down with the team yet since it came out 6 hours ago.
I'll assume you'll take care of it.
Yes, sir. We'll work on that, yeah. So that's in summary 2024. This is going to be the beginning of our budget amendment that you'll see next month. This is what we're waiting on the accountants, the auditors to say we concur. So I wanted to, Mr. Brooks asked specifically, can you show us what we expect? You're asking us to spend money here, here, and here. Can you show us the expectations across the district that wasn't planned in the budget? And it makes a great point. So I wanted to show on a document simply in the next few months to, in some cases, 6-8 months based on the land sale, the district will be gathering these funds almost certainly. This is on the table, work happening right now. There's an additional $1 million in assessments that we have billed for. So those bills went out. That was just recategorization, or proper categorization of parcels. There's still, the county still owes us $200,000 for our playground and a few other things like that. We talk in the Unit 12, Mr. Hornick, land purchase and assessment catch-up, I'm calling it. That needs to be reconciled here shortly. The county gave us $50K more for recreation. We talked about that. There's the ARPA payout happened in this budget year, so that'll adjust our numbers there. And then the $1.6 million. So just after we slap the table on the budget and we have a $15 million budget, we're finding about $3.5 million of more money. And none of that is raising anyone's rates. That's just found money, adjusted money. We beat up people, we got money back, and we did the right thing. So $3.5 million coming into the coffers.
You do have $1 million people paying more money. Assessments.
Well, they're paying what they were supposed to.
Well, but
yeah, well, yes. If we were charging them for a vacant, they built a nice luxurious $600,000 house, and now they're going to pay what they're supposed to pay. So yes, they're paying more money. Yes, sir. So that's what's coming in, and there will be more as we move forward in budget amendments. This is what we're asking as an initial swag at the next budget amendment based on how we're shaping the district, events, staff, and so on as we move forward. We've talked a little bit about some of the projects at the level of manning personnel. I think I've talked to a few of y'all individually about this, but this is just identifying gaps in our coverage when we're trying to provide the premier services that we provide. So custodial services, we now have a team of close to 5 custodians, and right now they're working for directors. There's no manager in charge of my facilities and custodian services. So we're trying to put that under an umbrella. We've cracked the nut with an IT department with a director. One guy cannot manage the hundreds of computers and networks and Wi-Fi and everything like that. So we've identified that we bring in some part-time technicians, and we brought them on board under the current budget, but I want to codify that in the range of actual position part-time. We've got a collaboration with the college where they're providing us interns that are greatly helping our departments. These are kids that are learning finance, HR, operations up at the school here. And this is an opportunity for them to not only get course credit, but we pay them a very modest salary to come work here. I'm not going to ask them to do it for free. They're leaving and they're driving. In one case, the guy comes from, what's the college, Warner or Weber, sorry. So he's coming all the way from Weber, driving every day to come work here. So we're giving him a stipend. So stuff like that. We're moving away from a dedicated 2-man code enforcement department to a multi-use security/code, basically public safety department. And to do that, because of the certifications required by the state of Florida, I'm offering a stipend to those guys that go above and beyond and get that accreditation. But all we need is one guy trained that we pay for. But there's some guys that want to do that, And rather than pay them at that level, we give them a small stipend. So that's what you see there. We talked the banquet hall, we talked the pool, the bond settlement we just talked. And then what I would like, after we got the final diagram and work on Boston Street, I would like to, instead of using the current budget, which we are doing right now, there's work going on right now in Boston in the operational budget, I would like to pull that out as a separate capital project, fund it with this extra money we got, and stand alone. Because otherwise it's going to eat into the day-to-day operational budget from our roads department. So at the end of the day, this first budget amendment throws about another $2 million on the table that we would need in this district to continue to move forward on great initiatives and projects. That still leaves us about 1.2 million that we would be putting right into the reserves at some level, be it strategic and so on and so forth like that.
And the 2 directors for the clubhouse.
2 directors for the clubhouse. So we've talked the banquet. We know there's going to be need there, and God love my team on site, but we're going to need a dedicated person at a skill set that's going to run that operation and not currently here. We may have that person on staff, they may apply, but we're going to need a dedicated director to run that operation there like I have for my golf and my restaurant. That also goes with our restaurant. We've had an ongoing discussion with Mike, the team, Troon, that we probably need to amp up the restaurant manager title. And again, person may be in staff right now. We just got to repurpose them, and we need those dedicated folks. So my clubhouse operation guy or gal, currently Mike, that person now would have 3 departments, and then they report to me. So we're asking that at that level, we start seeking those caliber of folks. They may be in Highlands County. They may come from outside of Highlands County. But I wanted to have the money allocated and then bring to you guys, we possibly found a person or 2 people to fill those billets, and it would definitely expand our capabilities at a more professional level for those 3 entities when it comes to our golf clubhouse operation.
Okay, so let me understand this. With the 3 million that you found, we're going to spend this year 2.27, whatever that
Yes, ma'am.
is.
Yep.
And where are we going to get that money for next year? If we're adding all this money to our accounts, where are we going to get? Because we won't get the 3 million next year.
No, you're spot on. So the only one up there that's a recurring cost is that top 50, 50, and 25, and possibly the directors. All the rest is a project that we've expended and we bought and we've built, and then it's going to be a smaller cost operation. We are not going to be spending $500,000 every year on a banquet hall.
Okay.
To run a banquet hall, that's not going to happen. But we need to build.
So all will be recurring is the
top part,
5,
the people. Yes,
2,
ma'am.
3. Okay.
And that's why I wanted to make a point that up until now, we only executed about 89% of our payroll budget. So in a way, once we start filling the right billets there, we will max out our current payroll that we've budgeted and planned for. And there'll be a small uptick moving forward, mainly with the 2 directors. The rest we're already paying for at a certain level in payroll. We just don't have them filled. So that'll be part of the current payroll budget. The only new add-on of staff would be looking what I call 2 director level people to run the clubhouse, not the clubhouse, the restaurant and the banquet facility.
The banquet facility.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
So the banquet facility, is that going to become one person for the district?
Yeah.
As opposed to the way we're doing it now?
Right now we have banquet events under restaurant.
Right.
And Miss Jessica does a great job, but she is kind of triple-hatted over there doing a bunch of things.
Well, we got district events, we have restaurant events.
Well, this will be
Sometimes they
someone that
cover-
runs the banquet hall to manage the events that we throw their way. I'm not going to say they're going to run district events, if that's what you're asking. No.
No, I'm
But
trying
I
to
got his
avoid,
team
I'm
for
trying to avoid what happened.
Yes,
last week.
yes. That would be someone that manages that facility, gets it booked, works that process, but then reports to the GM as this is what we're utilizing our space here for appropriately, and synchronizes the efforts with what goes on there and what goes on in the district.
Okay,
Yes.
so help me out here. All events are going to go to the banquet hall facility? For example, let me give you an example. The karaoke, would that go from the current location?
It could. I don't want to speak specifically to that. It could, but if the setting is better in the clubhouse, then that's where it'll stay.
I don't know.
If the setting's outside, but it will be synchronized. To your point, the concern I'm having right now is the synchronization.
Right.
To your example last week, I had a music event in the park and I had a
Right.
music event at the clubhouse.
Right.
And you could argue they were competed against each other, same crowd. We got to get better at synchronizing that. Yes.
Okay, so there's going to be one person who's going to direct that stuff. And the other director is for what?
I want a true restaurant manager. I do not have an,
As opposed to,
right now I have a food, I had
We
a
have a
food, what do we
manager
call
now?
Sandra, Mike?
I thought Sandra was a restaurant manager.
No.
No? Okay. So,
Restaurant manager owns the restaurant, runs the restaurant, front house, back of the house. That's just restaurant operations. We don't have that. We have a chef that runs the back house. We have Sandra and her team runs the front house, and they all report to that guy right there. He's my
so
operations.
it's just going to change titles and
Yep.
something like
Yep.
that.
I say some of these people may be in-house. I mean, I'm not running those folks out if they want to amp up to that.
No, but for example, if we promoted Sandra, let's say, we would
Yep.
still have to replace her,
Well, sure,
correct?
we would need a food and beverage manager.
With somebody else.
Yeah.
Do
it right.
I don't know if this is, I don't know if it's the right time or not, but I'm just going to start. We're going to be given an opportunity to change phenomenally what we do in the way of a restaurant. We're going to have a restaurant, we're going to have a pub, we're going to have an events person. We hope. That has to come off perfectly the first time. We cannot afford to have it go on like we're seeing right now. The restaurant just implemented new menus. Your prices are the highest in the county by far. Typical bowl of soup is I think it's $6 and $7. Any family restaurant around here is $3 for a cup and $4 for a bowl. You got $25 fish and chips. Just went the other day to Beef O'Brady's, $10.99 for the same thing. Chili's, every single day of the week, has a half a pound hamburger for $10.99, including fries, including a drink, and endless chips and salsa. Ours is $12.99 on a special. If it isn't a special, it's more than that. The discounts is not, members that I have talked to do not like it at all. Part of the drive was supposed to be that we are trying to bring the 12,000 residents into the restaurant, and now you've priced yourself higher than anybody else. I am confident, in my mind, there is no way that this management group can introduce that new phase of business effectively. We have to have a professional restaurant manager, and we have to have a professional events person. Because of that, and because of where we've tried to renegotiate the contract with Troon, my understanding, they are not interested in reducing their fees. They're not interested in redoing their restructure. They're not interested in doing any of the things that we have talked about for over 5 years, in my opinion. Therefore, I want us to discuss thoroughly. I believe it is time that we take it over. It gives us the 6 months that we need to go out and find the proper people to run that effectively when we introduce our new selves. We can't afford to not do it right, or otherwise we're going to be in the same boat we are at right now. So I strongly recommend that we give true notice and we start hiring the people that we want to step in after the 6 months so that we hit the ground running at the time that we take it over.
Definitely a different discussion.
Well,
It's somewhat tied to it, but I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sir.
And we were talking so much about it, and I feel very strongly that it's not going to happen unless we do it. We have to have professionals in there doing it, or we're never going to get off the ground.
All right. So, Madam President, if you don't mind, so one correction. the Troon current contract has been sent to them with some adjustments. They sent it back, and we've redlined it, right? We've accepted the Troon legal language, not a massive amount of change, to be frank, and it's not in your packet because we're still redlining the discussion. So that's the most current on that. That would be what I think this is if obviously more than willing to, you can move forward with what you want to do here. If we add it as a December drill down item, we can do and provide whatever data more you want. But yeah, that's kind of where we stand. I just want to make current where the Troon thing is. It's not on, they're not holding out. They sent us back. We've redlined, they've redlined. We're still talking back and forth.
Well, I would definitely like that on the December 17th meeting. The Troon contract,
Yeah.
whether we'll renew
Yeah,
it
we'll
or
have
not.
it for that.
Okay. Would that satisfy you?
Well, based on, well, yeah, we can find, but that's not going to change the players for what's going to happen when we go to a new restaurant, pub, and events. That's not changing. That will not change the people that are the management group that is responsible for making that a successful project.
Okay, but this, all right. I
The
understand.
restaurant, the redo, if we were, first of all, it's not even been approved.
No, true. That's phase 3. Yes,
Nor has the 18th hole of whatever we're going to call the other facility.
But that's the talk.
Huh? And so we're 18 months away at best from entertaining that. That's got nothing to do in the meanwhile with hiring the directors for the clubhouse, blah, 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 and reviewing the contract.
Yep.
To have the conversation, once we see what the contract is, I think that's the right thing to do. I agree. Could we at that time decide, yay, we want to get rid of them, or nay? Yeah. I don't think we're ready to make that. If you're saying, let's have that conversation, I think that's fine. If you're
I think
saying,
it's
let's
gotta
have
be-
it today, I don't think it's
No, I'm
appropriate.
not. Okay. But we need, I don't see it being 18 months. We're talking an events banquet hall that is supposed to be done this summer, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, sir. Yeah.
That starts the process of changing things over. Once we have the banquet room, our current banquet room open, we can then now convert that to strictly a restaurant. It may not have the bells, all the bells and whistles we want, but it will be there, and it will be a restaurant. The other side is the pub. That's not going to take much at all either. Now, is it going to have everything? No, but the structure.
I think having different people in, well, I mean, I don't see how it changes anything. I'm missing that.
Because
You're complaining about the pricing.
I'm talking about the whole, you need a professional restaurant person to operate the restaurant. And we need a professional to run the events. We don't have that. And
Oh, he's saying he's going to hire them. That's what you're saying.
Right, but okay. It sounds like a lot of duplication of effort to me. If we still have the same people in place and when we just have a director on top of it,
there's no guarantee that you put a director in who's professional, that things are going to turn around.
no, it does.
I mean,
But I don't see it happening now either.
If we hire a professional restaurant manager, are they a Troon employee or are they ours?
I mean, basically, I'm putting a Sun and Lake District employee in that mix, and that'll be added to the contract language that they would have to look at, or I would just tell them, I would pick the person, hire them, and then they would add it to the current contract. That would be an ongoing discussion. Haven't got to that level of detail other than identifying
No.
that's the person I need, I want.
How about the banquet? If that's separate from
and-
golf operation, would that not,
So right now, that facility truly stands on its own right now, working as a district entity, and it will. Anything that comes down the breezeway to feed that, to house it, to man it, is working from the existing setup we have now.
From the kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a restaurant guy, so I really can't tell you, but I can tell you this, if you lower the prices on everything in the menu, that's not gonna do a damn thing. That's not gonna get people in.
But raising it sure as hell didn't either. Excuse me.
Huh?
Raising it is not going to improve the
He's
flow.
raising it so we don't lose more money. I mean, there's a
But
reason.
who-
So if
who-
you,
But the increase only impacts those people that aren't members. And who else besides the members are eating there? Dang few.
Now, what's our numbers from last month, Mike? Just for clarity. Restaurant utilization based, members based on residents or
Yeah,
public.
so with the, adding the discount, program for the memberships allows us to data track, how much member spend we have compared to public spend. All of October came in at 25% member spend, 75% non-member spend. And so far through today, it is 26% for November.
So I think we're building in the data to track appropriately. Now, granted, some members aren't, I don't know why they wouldn't, not using the discount, but now that we have that, we're able to track that. So to Mr. Herrick, your point, you're spot on, is that we need to give quality service to everyone. We need to make sure the value of a member discount is appropriate and not just a wash. That's why they're paying us thousands of dollars, but we're tracking the metrics now to be able to show you there's 75% of non-members, be they residents, be they Sebring, be they coming to eat at our restaurant, and we're going to charge them the appropriate amount.
we're way off subject, but while
Yeah.
we're off, let's go for this. The statement that I get on my bill,
Yes, sir.
that needs to be changed because I need to see my discount. And right now I can't. All I see is a price that supposedly is my discounted price plus tax and gratuity to get me to a total, but I don't see my discount, nor does anybody else, I assume. So I think the
If you get your,
way we report it,
It'll be
you
on
get
your
your
receipt.
receipt.
It'll be on your,
It is on your receipt.
it'll be on your
It's on
receipt.
your-
I want it on my bill.
Here's
My
what I would ask.
statement. I
Here's
want
what
it
I
on
would
my
ask.
statement.
December, we're definitely going to have an agenda item to discuss the current submitted Troon contract and other issues dealing with the golf and clubhouse. That'll be on the agenda. We'll have the right data to support that. We can have some, at that time, we can have some tangent discussions that discuss, between now and then, we'll have discussions on the pricing. I know I'm having some meetings with some board members on the pricing model, how they figured it out. We're going to continue to do that. And we can bring some of that data to you in December if you want to see that.
So
that
you said,
logic.
are you answering with a yes or a no on what I'm asking for? Can I get a statement that shows me my
Yeah, well,
price
you're
with
talking
the
pure
discount?
operational, that's me and him having a discussion, you'll get that. That's an easy one.
That's an easy one?
That's an easy one, and we'll figure out how to get that on all the statements. That should be shown. You should show, just like when you use your reward card on a credit card, you got 10,000 free points. We should be able to show you how much money you save. That's a no-brainer. And if we don't do it now, he'll figure out a way to do it in the next few hours.
No, we don't. I don't believe we do it.
We can do
Okay.
that, yes.
Are getting away from that for a minute, going back to this?
Yes.
Please.
I know we committed to $150,000 for shutters. Should we not state that here as well? hurricane shutters?
We're actually, that's a good point. We can, I was tying that to a grant, but I will show that on there.
I mean, that should
Good
be
point,
put
yes,
in
sir.
here. And then the other thing that I would suggest is the pool expansion.
Yep.
Is really like 650, isn't it?
650, right there. Yes, sir.
No, not,
650 on there. Yeah, you may be having,
oh, I have
yes.
an old copy.
650, sir.
Yeah, 'cause
But
what
I'll
we
get the shutters on there. It's a good
What
point.
we got is 600.
Mine
Okay.
said- Yeah, we
650.
changed.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay, so we'll add that. So again, you'll see the official budget amendment in December. Just wanted to give you some highlights of what's coming your way for the future approval and discussion at the budget amendment, as well as adding a discussion that you just had with Drew.
So,
Sir.
do we want to get a consensus that this is a good thing and to go forward?
I would like to
or-
hear any more feedback on it. If there's any specific questions, sure.
I'd like to make a few comments.
Sir, go ahead.
I worked at the college. I was a college intern at one time, and college interns are normally not paid. You can get free help from the college, and there's lots of people looking for being an intern and not expecting to be paid. That
Yes, sir.
And the other comment I'd like to make is I think we're doing too much too soon. We're getting 3 million, we're spending 2 million, 2.2. I think we should take one project at a time. The pool or the clubhouse, I think, not both at the same time, in the same year. I think we're gonna put ourselves back to where we don't want to be. We finally had a year where we're just out of the red, and our restaurant's finally breaking even or coming out a little ahead. I think we should keep on that path before we start spending everything and go back into the red again.
You left early, but banquet hall expansion and the pool expansion was approved last week,
Yeah.
last meeting.
I still can make a comment on it, don't
Well,
you think?
yeah, yeah.
No, I got
but-
you.
Yeah.
You make a lot of comments. I think I'm entitled to mine too.
It was,
Thank you very much.
Sir, noted. Thank you, sir. And we were going to get with you sidebar on that whole, because we're getting kids from north of us. We want to get them from here, so.
Get the local ones.
Yes, exactly. Yes, sir. Anything else on this one?
No.
Okay.
You want to talk about Hornick now?
So we're good
yeah.
to go on this?
Yes, sir. I mean,
It's
let's,
just, we're
I'm
not
just showing you some
approving
numbers.
anything,
I'm
we're
not
just
approving
showing
anything.
it.
I'm just showing you some numbers
We're
that's
just
coming next month.
showing.
That's all. Yeah. The only communication you all received, I received last night was from Unit 12 developer, Mr. Hornick. We have not had a lot of time to digest that or counter it. I'll be answering that with an official district note back once Garrett reviews it. If there's any questions on that, but again, it's a statement from a developer with some concerns and they will be addressed.
Okay.
I don't know how much detail you want with it. It's not part of the packet. It's not part of anything.
Just so you guys know, this guy called me last, what did he call me? Thursday?
Yes, sir.
He called me last Thursday, wanted to talk about this. I invited him to come here. I mean, Boz knows about this. I invited him to come here to state his case since he thought it was so important.
Mhm.
He also told me he was going to send me a copy of this document last Thursday, which he never did. So I don't know. I
Thank
just
you.
thought you guys should know that he called me, made an issue out of it, and then nothing really happened.
Well, I don't,
And obviously, he didn't think it was important enough to come today.
okay. And I don't see how we can discuss it when we haven't had time to even look at it.
We'll get you a
Yeah,
response
okay.
and you'll make sure you all have a copy of it, our response. And that was the only other communication, that was the only communication received. Turn it to Garrett.
Okay. Staff reports. Oh, yeah, general counsel.
Yeah, morning.
That's you.
That is me. It's just a few updates. We touched on a couple of them already. With the Avanti mediation, the first week of December, that was originally scheduled for October. It was delayed because of the hurricane that went through in October. So, well, I should have an update on the status of that event at the December meeting. We just discussed the letter from Mr. Hornick last night. I'll just note, I've been working frequently with his counsel, and we've proceeded, we thought we reached an agreeable way to look at how to interpret the contract and what the appropriate assessment figure is, acreage, things like that. So it was somewhat of a surprise to receive a direct communication from him, not his counsel, with a different opinion of things. But we'll get that solved, and I don't think, with respect to what has been previously owed, what he needs to come current on, I don't think we'll have any issues squaring that away. I think we'll have a somewhat of a longer discussion with moving forward what's the correct amount to assess. But we'll keep you updated on that. Boz had sent to me earlier this week, or late last week, the recent update from D.R. Horton on the development standards that we had a chat at the last meeting about. I'm putting together language to connect those standards to the actual sale of the property. We talked a lot about enforceability and making sure that they do what they say they're going to do, and to have some teeth to go after them in case they don't follow up on that. So I think we should have that squared away pretty soon.
So we still have to
We,
sign off on
we're all
that.
right with the square footage and the double garages or the garage,
1,300 square foot?
1,300 square
Yeah, they're
feet?
gonna change, per our discussion last board meeting,
Okay,
they're gonna put that in the language, the
okay,
mandatory garages, mandatory square footage at the higher level. We're gonna use the schematics provided and use those numbers. And they're fine with that as long as, in whatever next agreement they do, they have some flexibility if they need it. Whatever. But they're fine with that language going into this contract.
Are we writing into the contract the golf discount that was supposedly, I think was agreed to?
Well, they've agreed to an amount for amenities. I don't think us offering a special rate is really a separate,
yeah,
I don't want to tie that to the contract.
no.
I know what you want to do, and we're
Oh, but
supportive of that.
It was mentioned at a previous meeting.
Yes, we're supportive of that. It's just going to be a standalone discussion that I'll bring a discount category to the board for your agreement. And then we'll offer that to any purchases, but that's not tied to them selling out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a bonus.
Yes.
Earlier in this meeting, the communication that Boz received from the county attorney was that they'd like us to start to develop the land development code amendments for the Sun and Lake specific categories. I think we haven't had a chance to talk about it, but I think it'd be appropriate for maybe at the next meeting or the first meeting of the new year to have an agenda item to maybe talk through what you all are looking for exactly. There are lots of different ways to do it. The land development code has the standards, minimum square footage, lot size, setbacks, those sorts of items. There's also ways to build in architectural design standards as well. So we can talk about that and maybe get some direction from you all on what specifically you're looking for, and then we'll proceed on that. Like Boz said, we got the red line from Trumac yesterday. It was all fairly standard. Boz and I are going to meet after the meeting to just put some final touches on our end to get back to them. I have no doubt that we won't have it ready to go in December. Let's see. We on the Auckland bond foreclosure issue, we went out and negotiated with a process serving company, a very low rate for our service fees. We're going with ProServe, very good Tampa-based company. That'll save the district a good amount of money with this project. So we're now ready to move forward with all that. We have cases that'll be filed this week on that project.
I got a question.
Go for it.
Do we have any recourse with this property on Angelo Circle, I think it is? That big monstrosity that you can see it between the 17th and 18th tee on Turtle. Isn't that Angelo Circle? Somebody help me here. I'm not that
You
good.
know what we're talking about?
There's a home that appears to be huge that's being built for the last 3 years, 3.5, 4 years, I don't know. That's now got wood, the cement's up. So it's got wood all over the place that seems to be rotting and is just sitting there. And I got to tell you, it's really an eyesore. And I can't believe the people who live around it are tolerating it.
So the first thing is I'll get with Boz on that, and I'll look at some photographs. What it may be is we need to reach out to the county building official to go out and inspect the property to see if there needs to be a condemnation order issued against the property. It's like if it's like a half-constructed building that hasn't. They probably run afoul of their permit timelines as well. So that's a county code issue.
I think we need to bring it to somebody's attention because I can tell you it's definitely an eyesore.
Yeah.
And the wood there, I think, is even rotting.
Yeah.
It's been there so long.
We'll confirm the look. I think I know which one you're talking about. That's been under some code violations as well as through the magistrate court. But let me dig into it after this with Nick, and we'll get Garrett involved if we have to.
Yeah, I mean,
I think I know which one you're talking about.
You can't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go down that road.
Yep.
Car
We'll
path.
check it out.
So we're going to talk about it a little more later during the meeting. I just want to let you know if you open the paper this morning, you see we got our first uniform method notice published. That includes the possibility of collecting the district's maintenance assessments, as well as Boss had brought it up pretty late in the game, but we got it in the notice, also collecting the solid waste assessments as well using the uniform method. So it doesn't require us to do it. It's just so that we can have the resolution come in December and we can, you all can decide what you'd like to do. Just want to let you know that we have that all prepared and done. And thank you to Melissa for helping get that done. Appreciate that.
I got a question on that. If we were to proceed on that, I know we're looking into a different collection of disposal or waste. How is all that going to work?
Well, yes, sir. We'll discuss that.
We'll discuss.
We're in the infancy of that discussion, and we wanted to have an option.
Yeah.
We've been receiving information from our county that their contract is in renewal, and there's going to be a massive spike in it based on so we need to take this opportunity to see, are we going to stay that course or we're going to go out on our own?
But if we were to change course, we would have to change, would we be able to do it with county sending out the bill?
Well, it won't be for this cycle. This cycle is happening. The $229 that everyone pays for trash is
Right.
this year. I'm talking for October 1st of next year. That's why we're noticing this stuff.
Yeah,
Even with this.
This just creates,
This, right?
Next year.
That's for next year's
Next
bill that comes out in November,
Yes, sir. Next year. Yes.
November of next year. But we would have to make a decision earlier
We
than
would have to
that.
make a decision in the next 30, 60 days if we wanted to go on our own for trash or stay with the county. Yes.
And do we know how the county would? I won't. Okay.
this just creates optionality
Yes.
for you all. You don't have to do any of it. You could do all of it. We just wanted to preserve the choice for
It meets the regulatory requirements.
When do we have to decide whether we want to do that or not?
the December meeting.
December meeting?
Yes. Let's see. Yes, and then at the next, I just wanted to, an FYI, you'll see it come across on the next agenda. I can push it out earlier if you all would like. Earlier this year, we had a good amount of discussion about the issues the district has faced with some resistance from the property appraiser and how the appraiser goes about assessing district lots. Now that the D.R. Horton situation squared away, we know what's going to happen with that. We've talked about it before. The property appraiser's office is requiring that the district approve a resolution specifying which lots are being held for a future district purpose, rather than just being lots that are for sale or have an option for sale. It's not legally required. However, I think I've talked with all of you previously. I think it's the easiest path forward, and it's what they've requested of us. So I've prepared a resolution. I have working with staff on getting the list of lots together, and that'll be on the agenda for the next meeting, so we can get it hopefully approved in advance of January 1st, which is the date when the property appraiser's office is supposed to base their exemption decision off of. What's the use of the property on January 1, 2025? That determines whether or not we're entitled to the exemption. I think it'll cover about 800 lots that aren't included in the Hornick option agreement or the D.R. Horton sale. Taxes are about $100 a year on those lots, 800 lots, some significant savings. So stay tuned for that. And that's all I have. If you guys have any questions, happy to.
We're an hour 45, Madam President, into this meeting, and I've been commented on in the past few meetings that we kind of burn the clock a lot. Do you want to take a 5-10 minute break?
I would love to take a
Let's do that.
5 minutes break, just to.
If you want to just
Yeah.
gavel us out for 10 minutes?
Yes.
And then we'll get back in here and give everybody a chance
Okay.
to break.
We're going to take a 5-minute recess, 10-minute recess.
All right. All right. Can you shut the cameras off or whatever, or pause it? Yeah. Yeah. Sure, sure, sure. Mhm. Yeah, yeah, referee should be here. Yep, yep. Yeah. What's that? Okay, good.
Meeting is now back in session. We're going to start with the GM report. You're on, Boz.
All right, you have your general manager report. You have a hard copy, and it'll be posted online. This is the topics we'll run through. Some will be very short. Some will be a little bit more in detail. We talked about the parcel acquisition. This is our initiative for our wastewater. These are the letters that have been sent out. People have taken up our offers to work either a swap or a purchase outright. This is mainly in Unit 6 and 7, the wastewater area. But there are some in the preserve, not the preserve, the conservation area to our north, and other areas in the district where people are just wanting to get a more viable piece of parcel, property that we can do a swap with and get positive control. So that's ongoing, and we have 50 completed and more as we move forward. And then we'll start running through these things. This is an interesting one. So we are trying our best to not only get Sun and Lake the recognition we well deserve and should be getting. We reached out to the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. This is the wall in DC. When the Vietnam Veterans Wall was established, a few years after its establishment, there was an ongoing concern from citizens across America. Well, I don't get to DC, I can't experience that. So the wall, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund came up with a replica, I think it's 40% or 60% size replica of the wall that tours around America. Basically hits every state maybe once a month, some cases twice if it goes somewhere close proximity. And they've been doing it for many years. The last time it was in Sebring area was 18 years ago. It came through here. Obviously our dynamics, our demographics have changed and everything, but it usually hits Florida every other year. We reached out to the fund. We presented our case. Basically, I was just doing an ask saying, would there be any interest of this organization coming to Sun and Lake to set up the wall? It's a week-long event. And as of today, this afternoon, they will officially announce it nationally. We will be in the national notification that Sebring, Sun and Lake was selected as the only event space in Florida for next year. We beat out Miami, Tampa, Tallahassee, and they all presented cases that they wanted it to come there. I'm not saying we have more juice than them, but it helps when you know the retired general on the board, and it helps. It helps when you have a family member that works for the organization. So I think we have a great chance here to bring this event here, and I'll see if this works, IT.
You said it's being announced today,
Being announced today, yes, sir.
that we have it?
Yes. Sound?
Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund.
Sorry.
Look back and pay their respects to those who answer the call of service to their country, especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Be able to take this around to communities that
may not even know anything about the wall or the war, especially for the young kids to come out and see these things and get educated on it. People need to know what these 58,000 plus gave their lives for, whether they want to hear about it or not, they need to know.
The experience at the wall that heals is as you go from one end in toward the center, the wall actually rises up above you so that it's taller than you are, which is one of the key design aspects of the wall in Washington. As you go down one of the walkways, the wall actually rises above you. And I think that has a psychological impact where you actually understand that there is something important here. It is so large that it creates an emotion of power, and you understand you're supposed to stop. You're supposed to think about it. And in this case, you can read the names, you can see your reflection in the wall, and you have to remember why those names are inscribed. These are people who sacrificed their lives for our country.
I get this feeling in my stomach, the pride that you see. When we went into San Dimas, the kids were all on the streets with their American flags. That always shows me up. I know what it is to serve this country, and we as Americans sometimes don't understand the cost of war. Hate the war all you want, but don't hate the warrior. I met a couple of guys here this morning. One guy, I walked up to him and he started crying already. Man, that makes me feel good. Not that he's crying, but that he's here to have bonding with someone and be able to find his buddy on the wall. It means so much.
The Vietnam veteran is the largest contingent of veterans that we have not only in America right now based on the aging of our veteran population, but definitely have in Sun and Lake as well as Highlands County. So it's a great way to honor that. If you've been to, there's very few sites that, sorry. Okay, sorry. There's very few sites where the emotional impact of the event will does it like the Veterans Memorial, Arlington, the Normandy, I apologize.
No apologizing necessary.
Yeah, and I'm not a Vietnam veteran. I put a lot of guys in the ground, and I apologize. But let me shake it off. But we were selected, and it's going to be a great event. They're going to come to us. They set up. We will help establish it. It's a week-long event, and it's run 24/7. So as they set up the wall, there's a period of time where 24 hours a day, you, a school, a community center can come and experience the event. So we will be being the advocate for it. We're going to have some meetings across the county, across the state in some cases, where we'll have some partnerships, sheriff department, as well as other communities will come help us with the setup and so on. And then we will manage the wall for a period of time. They send us the experts to do the tours. And right now we're looking at two spots. We have this green space right next to us. I'd prefer the space in between where we want to build our banquet hall. So it'll be basically an event where we'll conduct in that space. The backdrop's the lake. We have the facilities there. We have the restaurant. We have the parking. And then when we complete this event, we can move right into our banquet project. So I think it's a great location based on the ability of all the resources around it. So they're going to come in March. We're having a meeting tonight. This is kind of how they break down, how we will task it across the staff, as well as some citizens, as well as volunteers. And it's a major event for us to help with some fundraising. There's a cost to this. There's a cost to bring them down there. There's a cost, obviously, to run it. There's a lot of volunteers that come in here. We're going to reach out to our benefactors and our supporters, our partners across our gamut, be they local, be they citizens, be they organizations, to try to gather up. I do not see that being a problem whatsoever when it comes to gathering the funds to run this. It's probably in the $10,000 to $12,000 range to execute it for the week. That's just the basics. That's bringing it, setting it, and that type of stuff. There's obviously some additional costs, but we'll reach out to, I'm having a meeting with all the veterans organizations. That's going to be a no-brainer, getting some donations from them. and we're going to reach out to our other partners. But we're going to start planning this. It's a big effort. It's more than those people. It's going to be a couple hundred people, football teams to help us set it up, people to help us run it, people to help us be there at 2 a.m. in case someone wants to come down there. It's a large commitment, but being the only place in Florida, it's just going to draw national attention to us in Sun and Lake. So I appreciate the support. It's an initiative that we want to do as a district. I definitely appreciate support that the board's going to give us, and I definitely know our citizenry are going to jump on this one and help, to include all our schools, to include our county, our other municipal governments, and benefactors around here. That I think we can take this, since it hasn't happened regionally here for many, many, many years. Having the official wall come to Sun and Lake is going to be a great thing for Sun and Lake. So I wanted to present that to show you all. This will come quick. This is 4 months away. We will
I
be
should say,
executing.
we don't have much lead time on this, so
We
we
don't.
need to get,
Yeah.
need to get on this.
And because they've had to tell the others no, they've had the whole month to do that. And now, I got the phone call last night, we're going to announce it nationally today at 2:00. So you guys are getting the benefit that we know it's coming. It's coming. We're going to do it. We're going to execute it. It's going to be very well done, and we will be on the national bubble for a while. Any questions?
You have a lot of vets, I mean,
Yeah.
that live here in Sun and Lake.
Yep. Ma'am.
Yes.
I'm sorry. ma'am.
Is somebody going to contact the newspaper?
We will now. We can officially. So we'll have the
Because we
stuff.
just got it last night.
We just got it. They're going to do it at noon. We can't do it before them. So
Yes,
we'll be
ma'am.
on that.
Jenny Cecil, 5257 Poe Beach. This is wonderful. But do we know the exact date yet?
Yeah, it's
Only reason I ask is, can we get this, like you said, we don't have much time. Can we get this communicated to Sun and Lake people to support it?
Yep.
Like you see in those pictures, we can line the streets as they're coming into Sun and Lake, and get the support behind it. So that it showcases Sun and Lake as well as what you're trying to do.
Sure. We've been doing some behind the scenes stuff in the preparation staff wise and figuring out the list, the contact. Those are the dates right there. 4 March it travels, 5 March we set up, 6 through 9 March next year. It's functional and then we tear down. So and you're exactly right. There's going to be a hard messaging from Jamal and our department here to include newspapers. We're going to get it on the TV, that type of stuff, because we are the only show in Florida next year. So we're going to really amp up our messaging of this event.
Do you have a town hall meeting before then?
We will do one probably in January, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yep. So I just, any other comments?
Are you
No,
involving
thank you.
the,
That's fabulous.
are you involving the county tourist division?
Yes. Yeah. Like I say, as of today, gloves are off. We can start doing official contacts, and they were very secretive in the process because they didn't. And now they've given us the go ahead last night. So
You said noon or 2?
at 2:00 this afternoon, they'll put it on their website as well as some other means, and they'll send us that stuff. Okay. Remainder of meetings, we changed the December board meeting to 9. It was an adjustment to 9 in the morning. A lot of schedule conflicts that day, so I appreciate the adjustment. And then we have the December 13th assessment appeal committee meeting. The citizens have selected. We're receiving the packets. I don't think we received any. Did we have received anything today? Assessment appeals? Nothing to date. They have another week and a half. Our major events that we had on going through the end of the year, President Phillips already addressed a lot of these, so we'll continue. The next big one is this Saturday, Turkey Trot, and that's right outside here, Community Center, running around Sun and Lake for a 5K. So we're looking forward to that as well as all the others. And again, we'll keep pushing out the message for all these events.
So Balaji, on the parade, is who's running that from here?
So I guess Jamal and Melissa are the leads on that. They're gathering the names, who's going to be on the float and that type of stuff. So you'll see more messaging of trying to build up that list. We have how many? We have citizens yet identified? Or yeah, we got to get that word out to clearly understand what's happening that night.
You had mentioned perhaps pickleball on the float.
Yes.
Is that still a go?
We're still go with a representation of restaurant, pickleball, tennis, golf. Yes.
Okay, Melissa, I'll give you the names of the people that volunteered to do that part. Yeah.
and for the group, so the Sebring hosts a Christmas parade that goes around the circle every year. We are the first year participating in it from Sun and Lake. We'll have a float. It'll be representing all the goodness of Sun and Lake with citizens and staff on the float engaging. It's a large turnout for the local community, so we'll be participating in that. So any volunteers that you want to ride on the float, get front row seats to the parade, contact Melissa, give us your name, and you'll get a ride either on the float or in a golf cart, and we'll take you through the parade and enjoy that night. Just a few hours that night. Friday night, what's the date? 6th December.
6.
Yep. Okay. Based on discussion, guidance from the last board meeting, we adjusted the schedule to basically front load the board meetings to the first Tuesday of the month. There's a slight tweak there, January, because of the holiday schedule with everything. We had to push it 1 week back. But for the most part, the first week of the month on a Tuesday will be the new board meeting starting in 2025. And then further comment from the board was we would like to offer one afternoon meeting a quarter. And I went with so we had some consistency in the schedule. The second month of each quarter is when we'll do the afternoon one. So there's some understanding, consistency. So there's your new board schedule for 2025. Please look at it. Once you guys are good with it, we can just post this online and then we'll take it from there. And then it ties all to the special meetings next year, starting with the landowner, going into the some budget and training ethics meetings, and then all the way into the appeals committee meeting later in the year. Any questions on that? Does that meet the guidance, the expectations of the board? I think it's going to be good. It's what you're going to be approving and seeing will be vetted products that we receive in timely manner, and it'll be a lot better for communication to citizens as well as you board members of the products that the staff's putting together. We're not trying to rush them in. Okay, we'll go into this uniform method of collection for assessment. So we started the discussion last month. Garrett mentioned we have the proper notices in place. So if we decide to go down this road, we can. And it's also tied to any collection by the tax collector on the tax bill. There's the steps to notify them, notice the paper, notice citizens, and then build the process. So we took an opportunity that there's only two things that may meet y'all's guidance, your approval, to get on next year's tax bill, 2026, 2027, or correction, 2025, 2026. To get on next year's tax bill, it's our assessments, and it's potentially us collecting fees to pay a trash collector. And that's a separate slide. We'll discuss that. I wanted to get that on the paper because this is also the year the county has already told us there's a renegotiation of the contract, and this is the only opportunity we'd be able to extract once they lock in the contract with our numbers. Otherwise, we're set for another 3-4 years with the county, and it is what it is. So I wanted to just get that noticed out there and then take it for what, you guys tell us what you want to do with it, but we wanted to meet the requirements. So when it comes to uniform method, it's basically just that. Rather than our finance department in October sending out bills individually to our 12,000 parcels, you will see the assessment that you are categorized at, vacant all the way up through commercial, on your tax bill. You'll pay it as the tax bills do. The same discounts are offered, how you pay it in a timely manner, but you will have to pay it with the taxes, and then we as a district monthly receive that money from the county. The portion that's for the assessments, we would receive that from the county. If we're collecting money for trash, we would receive that from the county and then pay our trash collector. So that's just the process. The goodness of this, there's a lot of good. The goodness of this is, and Cora will speak to it more, is being on their roll, third tax processing bill. After April 1st, you're delinquent in either paying your taxes or paying your assessment. As of June 1st, they sell the tax certificate of your property because you're delinquent. The minute they sell that, we get our assessment money. So we get money right now the same year that we are asking you to pay your assessments, and we're not waiting 4 or 5 years later. The following year, after certificates sold, if someone is still negligent and not paying their bills, then the county sells the tax deed. And if they owe us money at that point in time, we get paid too. So the county's the collector, the county's in the driver's seat, and as they, reclaim the funding, they pay us as a district. We're not having to foreclose, send out notices. It's all based on the collector. So that's, I guess, the good things of it. It also clears up a little bit of misconception with our residents. Why I received 2 bills. What's this one? Well, I paid you and they didn't really pay us. They paid the county and vice versa. There is some of that, a portion of that. So this would clarify it because they wouldn't get 2 bills. They'd get 1. So that's kind of where we stand on it. And again, we started a discussion last month. I know we all wanted to have more discussion on this. I'll turn it over to Garrett and Coral to add anything.
You want me to go first? Sure. There's just one caveat to the method of how the district recoups delinquent assessments from the county. Everything that Boz said was absolutely correct. Once you're delinquent after April 1, the tax collector issues a tax certificate. And when those are sold, all of the governments, whether it be the county, the various departments, the district, we get our money. There is a situation sometimes where the certificates go unsold, where the tax collector puts the certificate up for auction and no one bids on the certificate, on the face value of it, and it goes unsold. Those certificates are, by statute, this is all a statutory scheme, those certificates are struck to the county. What happens when the certificate is struck to the county is it's essentially like an IOU, right? The county's just holding on to the certificate, and someone a week, 2 months, 2 years later can come and say, I want to invest my money in the certificate. I want the 5% minimum interest rate that it comes with. When a deed struck or when a certificate is struck to the county, they get the highest statutory interest rate. It's like 18%, 20%, something like that. So they're very good assets for folks to put their money into. So until they get sold, that's when we get our money. It's not a very likely event, but it does happen sometimes. It's happened more frequently in the past 1.5 to 2 years because interest rates have been so high. There have been, savings account, to Boz's points earlier, you get a 5%, 4.5% interest rate on a savings account now. A lot of folks weren't necessarily seeing tax certificates as a good investment opportunity because they can get the same interest rate from a CD or from a savings account that had no risk. But that's not really something that happens all too often, and eventually most of them get sold. Same thing with a tax deed sale. If certificates are purchased and no one pays the amount of money to satisfy the outstanding certificates, the tax deed gets struck to the county. It's the same process. Similarly, in that event, the governments don't necessarily get their money then. However, just like the certificates, the county holds on to the tax deed, and someone can swoop in, come in later, and purchase the tax deed for the face value. That's when we get our money. Same sort of analysis as the certificate. Land acquisition is pretty hot in the district right now. There are, to the point of Boz, folks are scooping up lots all across the district. This stage in the real estate cycle, I don't see it being a particularly there's not really going to be a significant impact from it. But that does happen from time to time. And if you go and read in the statutes, you'll see exactly that scenario contemplated, and that's how it works. So eventually, it might not be immediately, but, with a handful of properties, it might not be an immediate repayment. It might be 1 year, 2 years max. So that was the only additional point. It doesn't happen a whole lot, but I felt it was important for you guys to kind of understand that side of it. That's all I have. You guys have any questions on that?
That's fine.
But all the money they're gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so doing some research on the county website, we have approximately 700 Sun and Lake parcels on the county site that have passed due taxes. So assuming that all of those were sold at a tax certificate and using the average vacant lot fee of a 160 per year and 5 years in arrears, comes to about $800. So if you take that $800 times the 700 properties, it's over $500,000. So that money is already gone. That's by not participating in this. None of that was recouped. So I would say that if you were to take an estimate of 250 parcels each year, because there would be no carrying it over year after year because they collect on at the day of, it could come to about $40,000 of collected fees through tax certificates. So the county, moving to the county collections gets us paid, and their process of selling the tax certificates gets us paid in the same year. Within months of billing, bills go out in November, due in April, certificates sold in June. And then, for us to collect that money, it's a foreclosure process, which is time consuming, plus costly. Could cost anywhere from $750 to $1,500 to do a foreclosure. And we have, like I said, if we're using the 250 as an average parcel for foreclosure, that could cost us over $300,000 just to try to recoup through foreclosures.
Another point I want to raise, because there was some hesitancy on, well, what if folks don't like this? What if, how long or is the district, if we make this decision this year or next year's taxes, are we locked into it? You are not. You can discontinue using.
And we've done that.
Yes, that's correct.
We have done that. We've already tried this once.
Yes.
And then we let it go because it is a burden to our citizens. There's no doubt about it. Because the majority of our citizens are on limited income. And so they pay one in November and one in December. They kind of break it up. And they have until April to do that. And that happens a lot. I know a lot of you that are still working don't understand that, but those of us that are unlimited do. So I don't know if we want to give the appearance of grabbing the 40,000 or whatever it is per year, and are we guaranteed that there are going to be 250 lots every year that don't pay their taxes?
No, there's no way to know that. But when you're speaking of paying say your assessments in November and your taxes in December, we're talking about a 1% difference. So people who want to pay their tax bill in full in December, they would just hold their November money.
All I'm saying is there's a difference between $5,000 and $4,000. That's what I'm saying. But when you're on a limited.
I agree. I do know that. I'm just saying that the percentage of the discounts that are provided through the county and through the district are,
but
they're equal.
A lot of us that pay in November one of the smaller bills and wait until January or February when we get our money from the beginning of the year to live on for the rest of the year, pay it then. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
And I don't think that I'm the only one in that position.
Did we do that for more than 1 year? When we did it?
I think we did it for 3.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't working. I think it was.
How long ago was that?
It was
Yeah, about 10.
2006.
I think it was discontinued in 2008.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years.
I can't really, I don't really know for sure. I heard, murmurings of a few different reasons why it might have been discontinued. Certainly everything you're bringing up are very valid policy points for the board to discuss. The one thing I'll mention, because I haven't heard it brought up before, but the cost for the district to go and foreclose on these lots oftentimes is more money than we're seeking to recover. And what we're left with in that scenario is, hopefully someone buys the lot at a foreclosure sale, and then, we can recoup our expenses. The alternative is we get the lot, right? But if, you know, in the scenario where we go out and foreclose and spend all the money up front, and then someone comes and buys the face value of the debt plus our attorney's fees plus our costs, that land is probably marketable enough to have been sold at tax deed sale, and then we get our money anyways for free for, you know, the 3% collection fee. So it's not free, but it's, you know, it's cheaper. The additional point is the district may be able to lower the assessment rate if collections improve, because there's, you know,
Oh,
not,
come on.
well, there's not an insignificant amount of outstanding assessments, and, you know, to your point, you know, folks spend their hard-earned money to pay their assessments off, and all the folks
I've
who
lived
want-
here since 1989, 98, and we have never lowered our assessments.
Well, you know, it could stay, but I think the point I'm making is, you know, the folks who don't pay right now for the past at least 10 years, the district hasn't really made an effort to collect. And if we did, it would cost more than we would receive back.
I hear that when they say well, we paid our county taxes. Why do I have to pay the assessments? I explain the assessments to them and they say, well, I say, why did you pay the county tax and not the assessment? Well, taxes we have to pay. And people feel that. People feel the tax bill is priority over an assessment bill. Hence the second mailing, the trash, the trying to use different color paper to get attention, putting stamps on the outside that say this is an important document or an assessment is enclosed, because tax bills, they get the attention. I do.
I don't remember. How much are we talking about percentage if I pay in November versus March?
It's like $7 or $8.
What kind of savings is it?
It's only 4%.
Huh?
It's 4.
It's 4%.
The total is 4%.
4% savings in
So
November,
if it's
and then it goes
1,000 in
down to 3,
November,
2, and 1.
It's 900 and.
4321.
For 4%.
4321, that's right. No,
Yeah.
no discount in March, and then past due in April.
So we're talking 3% of $1,000, which is $30? Is that what it is? 3%?
There's still a discount offered if you pay your county taxes early. They offer the same
Right.
scale.
Same scale.
So we're not,
But we're talking about the burden on the residents of Sun and Lake if we add on to that.
I
Correct?
think that's what the president's point is that
But it's
they're
$30.
going to get a county bill in November that's going to say
No, you're
$3,000
gonna-
to the county, $1,000 to Sun and Lake.
You have no choice.
Pay
You gotta
$4,000.
everything in November.
You
Yep.
have to pay one, you
One.
only pay one time.
Yeah.
Right, but if you wait until March, you're saving $30.
But just, but
Huh? Is that what I'm talking about? Is that,
Mhm.
am I
Yes.
misreading that?
you're
or is
losing
that correct?
$30.
Yes.
I mean,
That's
I'm
it,
just as a
yes.
number, if it's $1,000 in November, or say it's $4,000 in November, I mean, it's 3% difference in March. So
You're talking the discounts, though. I
We're
think
not
the
talking
point being
discounts.
made here is,
right, but if they
talking
waited
money.
till March to pay, it's going to cost them 3%, which is maybe $30 more.
yes,
That's what
Yes.
we're talking about, whether it's right for the district to do.
no.
No,
No?
you're
I'm
missing the
missing
whole point.
The discounts is not the issue.
The
We're gonna
discounts is
still
not
offer
the
it.
issue.
They'll still
Why
get
not? You could,
discounts.
they don't, who says they have to pay in November? If they wait until in the March,
You don't
It's
have a
only
choice.
costing them
If you go to
3%
this
more.
method, you have to pay both of them at the same time.
well,
Yes,
pay them both in March.
you
It's
can do that.
3%
Yes.
It
more.
doesn't matter.
You can do that.
Can.
You can do
That's a
that.
totality.
What's the difference?
and
Whether
there's
you
no
have to pay
discount.
1,000 now in March, I'll
Because I
take
got-
that money and I'll hold it till March, and then I'll pay them
Mhm.
both at the same time. It's the same thing. It's the same thing,
But it's 33%,
except for 3%.
but it's on the property tax as well, right? So it's not just on the assessment, you're paying 3% more.
Not more, sir.
Well, you're discounted
The
less.
whole thing is 3%.
Discount.
Yeah.
If I,
Discount.
the bill that I get in November,
I'm not going to win this.
if I pay it in March,
They
it's going to
don't
cost me
understand.
3% more.
They just don't.
Is that not
understand.
correct?
On the
So
whole
the
bill.
the discount is on the whole bill, both the
Yeah.
taxes and the
It's
assessments.
3%.
Yes.
So if the
If we go
March
to this,
bill is,
I'm writing a check for $6,000.
wait
No
until
matter
March.
when I do it. I do it in January, I do it in November, I do it in December, it's $30.
Yeah.
March is $30 less. Absolutely.
Why would you, what's the difference? You want to split it up? It's the same thing. I'm saying save it until the end then.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm not gonna win this, and we're giving all this to, what we're doing is we're trying to become an independent district, and we're giving all the authority and everything to the county. So you have nothing to do. Are you gonna take the month of November off?
Trust me, I have lots to do, and I just saw I was on a volunteer paper list that I did not see earlier. So, no, I forgot what I was gonna say. So yes, it's,
I'm losing
that will
this one.
always,
I
even if we
understand
were,
that I've
even
lost
if we
this, but
were
I
a
just
city,
don't-
town, or
I just-
whatever,
think
we'll
it's
still
fair
have
to all the
county.
citizens.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
we'll always have county.
I was just
So
trying
there'll
to
always be county bills.
I'm just trying to
Absolutely.
understand. It's just gonna, I mean, the difference between, so if I was gonna pay $1,000 in November, I could hold it until March.
You could. You get less of a discount, but you still have to pay the same amount.
Yeah, you have to pay both of them at the same time.
You gotta pay both.
It doesn't matter when you pay them. If we give this, if we go to the uniform method of collection, we have to pay both of them at the same time.
Some of us pay both now, don't we?
Yes, we do. Some of you do, some of us don't.
Yeah, it's certainly a point to consider. What I would say is if the district decides not to adopt the uniform method for the following year, I think Boz in my office would want direction on what would you all like us to do with respect to the outstanding delinquent properties? Because the option then is, because after 5 years, the unpaid assessments drop off. So each year we don't go out and foreclose on the properties, we miss out on a good amount of money. So we'd be looking for some direction on what you all would like to do about that. And we can bring cost figures, but it would be expensive because you'd have to, our office is already doing the phase 5 bond foreclosure work. We're doing a little bit of other sorts of foreclosure work that we're going to get going here shortly. I mean, just the filing fees alone for a foreclosure action are $411. Service costs are $75. That's the outstanding assessments right there. So just something to think about, but that'll be something that comes down the road.
Let me ask you this. There was talk about reevaluating how we assess.
Check.
Correct? Is that still our plan?
We will start in January working with Chris Rowe, the expert on this, and we will figure out how do we do a reevaluation of all our assessment categories.
And
To
then
see if there's an uptick or downtick. Yes, sir.
would that be determined in time for if we were to go forward with this?
I
Would
think
that be?
we need to give them the numbers when? June 1st?
No.
I'm-
We have
I'm
to
just
give them
looking
the
at this.
numbers on
We
or
need-
before
we need to tell
September
them
15th?
We need to tell them we want to do it by January.
Oh, that's
Prior to January 1.
Yeah, but
Is it
when
June?
we submit the assessment roll to the tax collector is by June or
Yeah, June through September 15th is when, and that's what is on the slide. That's when we would approve the assessment roll. This is the
So-
number, so we have time to do that.
and then it's not certified until
So
September.
we could,
so-
you could reevaluate the assessments and still include it in time
Sure.
for
Yeah,
this.
yeah. And this can be revisited every year at the same time frame if there's an interest in it, changing interest in it. Don't feel like we're putting a gun to your head. We just needed to meet the right noticing requirements to see if this was an initiative you wanted.
Having been there when we did this.
Yep.
And it didn't work, I don't understand why we were gonna, and I understand that I'm losing this, but I don't understand why we're even visiting this again.
Tell me why it didn't work.
Because we did not realize the $440,000 a year that we're supposed to do we did not get the money back that we were, according to, supposed to get.
No. I thought you said that when we was on one bill back when, that it
No,
didn't work.
we
I'm
did it
saying,
for
why
2
did it work?
years.
Huh?
We did it for 2 years, and we did not realize the money that we were supposed to realize. So then we said, why are we doing this?
I could not find anything in our
Exactly.
historical record that
Exactly.
shows me the decision, what could come off of it.
Yeah.
We don't have those documentation. I'd have to figure out who was the GM at that time, bend his ear, make sure he's still alive.
It was a
all that
lady.
stuff.
I think if I could speculate, I don't know, but I think part of the reason was after 2008, that's when the crash happened, 2007 into 2008.
Mhm.
And as an asset, I don't think folks were particularly, ready and looking to invest their money in tax certificates that would never be realized.
Right.
Because the way you realize a tax certificate is you have to sell the property at a tax deed sale, and no one wanted to buy property in '08 to develop because, that just the wrong part of the real estate cycle, right? I think circumstances are a little different now, with Sun and Lake specifically, but broadly in the economy. But that's just speculate. I don't know why for sure, but I will say, I am unaware of a municipality or a special district that I've come across or that our firm represents that does not use the uniform method for at least their general, ad valorem taxes, non-ad valorem special assessments. That's still the case. I've looked really hard. I cannot find a single one.
How about Spring Lake? Do you know, Buzz?
They are on it. They've been on it. They really are very hands-off with it. They just receive the checks from the county. And they don't have a lot of categories like us. So it's pretty simple, cut and dry what they pay. No complaints from Mr. Serbo or their financial folks. They just say, hey, the county does it for us. Do we need to do a better job at showing you the pluses and minuses?
No.
Let's say, because we're not asking for motion. We're not asking for action. You can if you want. We just need that no later than December's board meeting if you tell us motion to move it to uniform method, because we have to submit it by 1 January.
Yeah. We just need to approve the resolution by the end of the year. That's all.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Jenny Cecil, 5257 Pebble Beach. Just to be clear, so when the thing is sold and you get the money, do they get a commission? Is there a fee or anything that we're paying?
They do, yeah. The
3%.
It's 3% of
3%.
of
I'm
whatever.
sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that we don't know exactly what happened in the past. I don't understand why you didn't get your money, because it seems like a win-win. And so, I mean, eventually, aren't we paying for the people that are negligent in paying their taxes, like
Yes.
down the road?
Yep.
So I guess we don't have enough information yet, but.
Oh, I think we do. Yeah.
People wanted to control the assessment.
The people wanted to control the assessments.
Certain people.
Yeah.
The ability to waive an extension, to
Yeah,
waive an.
exactly.
I'd say that's all innuendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
We can try to dig into
Yeah.
it.
Not good stuff.
Yeah, not good stuff. Okay, you could,
How are we leaving this? We're gonna wait until next month again?
no, you don't have to wait
need
till next
guidance.
month. You
Well,
can
we
make a
have-
motion.
Well, we have to prepare and present a
Yep.
resolution to the board for consideration. The reason why we couldn't bring it this month is we have to, per the statute, because this is a bigger deal, the notice requirements are more demanding. We have to run this ad for 4 consecutive weeks, once a week before the public hearing. So this is week 1. Next Tuesday will be week 2. The following 2 Tuesdays,
Okay.
3 and 4, and it'll be a public hearing where folks can come and be heard if they want to say yes or no. Either way, we'll have a special. It'll just be like the special assessment public hearing. It'll be its own thing, and then at that point, you all will have the ability to approve, deny, and we'll go from
Okay.
there.
When is the public meeting? Do we have that scheduled?
It's December 17th. It's the next.
At the board meeting.
It's during the board meeting, but it's a public hearing.
So we're gonna go through this whole thing again?
Well, at that point, you're going to get feedback from any public. You're going to see the resolution, and you're going to tell us yes or no.
We'll just
Yeah.
present the resolution. If you guys have any additional thoughts, questions, concerns.
Okay.
In the interim, we can try to get you more information on it. We're still going to have her team, to your point. Her team is still annually going to do wastewater assessments. They're still doing everything they need to do. We just remove that metric from the finance department, put it with the county.
Okey-doke.
Just to be clear, the only work the actual tax collector does is they just collect the money. Our team still has to Because what happens is the property appraiser will remit to us a list of every parcel in Sun and Lake. We have to put all that information in. We have to make sure it's all correct. You know, we have to actually do the legwork on that. So it's not a workless task, let's say, but it's, you know, it's the collection part's much easier.
Okay, so we're gonna bring that back as a resolution next week.
Resolution with public comment.
With public comments, okay?
Okay, we'll touch on this. The only thing that happened since the last meeting, our higher security option discussion, we met with Sheriff Blackman and his team. We discussed this a little bit more in detail. So I cleared up my concerns about the operational control, I'll call it. These would be two named sheriffs that work in our district specifically, and will be doing the tasks that we ask them to do. So that's what we would have the control of. If there's obviously something that pulls them out of the district, they need to go over the street to Wawa or something, a shooting or something, yes, that happens. That happens now. But I wanted to be very clear that if I told them set up a speed trap on Cortez, he says that's what you would tell them. If you told them to be here at the park for the fireworks show and monitor the crowd, that's what they would do. So we have more operational control, I'll call it, of them. The numbers presented in that 250K a range annually that we would have to budget for would cover Monday to Friday, 2 officers, 6 in the morning, 6 at night. That's the coverage. They use a 12-hour cycle. So if you wanted 24-hour coverage, you can almost guarantee you got to double that.
Could we get a schedule of one of them working Sunday through Thursday and the other one Tuesday through Saturday, so we actually end up with 7-day coverage with only 2 officers on?
The challenge is their manning. Their manning is 3 on, 2, what is it, 2 on, 3 off? They just have to follow their staggering. So for us to get dedicated 2 officers for the week, that's what the cost would be. Anything above and beyond that, that would give us, like, and I say 2 officers, you'd have a guy or gal from 6 in the morning, 6 at night, Monday to Friday, for that cost. Again, just throwing it out because this is the only way to amp up our security with the law enforcement side of it, without going on our own. So if we ever wanted to take this on, and if we took this on, if you approve this today, Sheriff Blackman says it would take him about 6 to 8 months to get sworn officers in the positions. He does not have that bandwidth right now. He's got to get them hired. He's got to get them trained. He's got to put them in there. He may ask volunteers that live here, say, do you want to be this task? And that may expedite it. But he's truly saying he needs some time to grow that commitment if we ask him to do this. So it's an interesting dynamic. I think it's be a good discussion to have during the next budget cycle, that we would have the numbers for it. But I just continually wanted to feed you the information if there's an interest to amp up our security posture when it comes to law enforcement functions. This is the only way for us to go down this road without creating our own police departments.
I kind of think with the growth that we're expecting, it might be something that we're definitely going to have to look at the next budget.
I do too.
I have to. Don't you think it's humorous that we want to spend, or potentially spend $250,000 for something that we're paying taxes on already? I mean, that's my first question. My second question is, or my second issue would be, this thing says, while crime is low in the district, we have traffic enforcement, illegal parking, and noise issues. Is that worth $250,000?
Well, I'm saying those are the 3 areas that our code enforcement cannot adequately enforce.
Is that worth, well, I'd rather hire $50,000 worth of more code enforcement.
No, I'm saying code enforcement can enforce those 3 areas.
Yeah.
We are not able to give tickets. We are not ever be able to do certain things. So those are the 3 areas that we have gaps in. There's a county noise ordinance. I hear your point, sir. Yes, sir. But I'm saying the areas that we get commentary on is, how do you increase security or the posture, law enforcement in those areas? The only way to do that, build our own department, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars, or do a contract with the guy that runs this county. And that's a totally valid point. For the $3+ million we send to the county for our county taxes, that's an interesting discussion that the county commissioners would have to take up, as well as Sheriff Blackman.
And could we get
Well-
money back for the tickets that they write?
That'll be, yeah,
No.
that'd be something that, it
If
would
they
go through
write
their
tickets,
thing.
they get the money.
Because all you gotta do is sit at one
Yeah,
of
they
these
would
two-way,
collect it, right?
these
We don't
four-way
get that
stops, and
stipend,
you
right?
can write,
Yeah.
you can pay your salary.
I think
because
we
they
ought to
don't
push
stop.
the vote till next budget meeting because we did it
Absolutely.
today. I would vote
Oh, no, no, I'm asking for today. Just, again, that's the only change. We had a meeting, we got a little bit more detail. We'll bring you, because at the time in budget cycle next year, I'll be able to lay the costs of our current security code enforcement team, how we've streamlined that to maybe free up money to do something like this, and we'll be able to have that discussion.
It almost
Did
gets
they
to the-
ever?
It almost gets to the point where you have to question what the hell we're doing with the counties. I mean, seriously. I mean, to me, it's a grave concern. We paid them a lot of money and I'm not seeing the return. We had to buy Sun Lake Boulevard. We had to do, I mean, just, I don't know. I'm done after next month. I feel sorry for you guys.
Do
It's
they
a
ever
tough
patrol
issue.
there
Somebody's
now?
got to address the
Huh?
counties.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
I'm
they
sorry.
do.
I didn't
No,
know
we
they were
did
still
get-
talking.
We did get the commitment to, pay Schumacher, which took us a lot longer than it should have. But
We had, okay. The county, I can say this because I'm gone after next month. The county is screwing us. No questions about it in my mind.
You don't hear anybody arguing. with you.
We'll bring this back in March and April for budget discussion. We talked some recreation upgrades that's going to be ongoing the next 3 years. What I put in red is an ask, a request, but not budgeted. So don't look at the greens replacement included in that $80,000. So that's why I kind of pulled those out.
What you
If we-
haven't read, we have all in black.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
So the pool and the greens are not, and I actually missed the one down there, are not baked into those numbers. That's what we budgeted in the capital plan for the next 3 years, less the accounting of those numbers, because obviously, as you know, we do greens, we're talking a couple $100,000. So just wanted to paint that picture.
One thing on the greens.
Yes, sir.
One thing on the greens is I definitely recommend whether you have to wait a year extra, you do them all at the same time, like we did this year. To split it up is if they're in bad condition, you'll have a good 9 and a bad 9.
Agreed.
I think you do it all at once. If it means waiting an extra year, wait the extra year.
You're right. And I think the way I've painted that is what I would like to do is fence off the money in 2026 for the greens for Turtle, but then execute in 2027, all of them with all the money. But to take that one big bite of $500,000 a year is not right for us. But if we fenced off 250 based on how we're doing well, we put it in the bank, we sit on it. So to your point, I'm with you. That's just how we painted it out for the capital plan.
That's fine.
Yep.
But do them all at one time.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yep. So we talked this last night, some interesting recreation upgrades with walking trails when we had our public comment session with our citizens last night with the budget discussion. Additional walking trails, make sure the right amenities. There was a lot of consensus of we appreciate the amenities, we like the amenities, just keep them going at the high level. Don't add too many more. And I say don't add too much. Don't go hog wild on adding stuff if you start degrading the quality of what we have. And big fan of that. Our team was aware of that, so we'll continue that road. Not a lot of new amenities, I say, was thrown out there in our discussions last night. We talked the pool. We're refining the product there. We have our Polston Engineering working with the vendor that we've identified here for the pool. So that's where the pool itself is going to be in the $500,000 range. Once we get it all said and done with the pool and the immediate surrounding area. The additional $150,000 sitting with Polston is the fencing, blowing out that area, more concrete cabanas, and making that more of a recreational spot. That's where that additional 150 comes in. So right now, we as a district would be looking at from our recreation bucket, $650,000 applied over time. And as these projects come in, I would bring them back monthly to the board saying, now we're ready to execute the contract for the pool. Now we're ready to execute the contract for the fencing, whatever. But right now, to the best of our abilities and our assessment, $650,000 gets us what you see there, a more robust recreational area surrounded that's fenced off, still membership driven, but at the same time, we add some features outside the fencing that we are taking away, a shelter, gazebo, that type of stuff. We add those so people aren't losing anything outside the fence, but we also include them inside the fence for people. So that's where we stand right now. So we're.
On the drawing, did he get the new pool closer to the
He
existing
did.
pool?
That's last month's drawing. Yes, we're moving it closer. The pool guy is shaping that, bringing it closer in to meet your, and it's a totally valid comment. We'll get it closer in, probably in the 20, 25-foot range. There'll still be a gap in between there. It'll be fenced, so you can segregate the areas, if you needed to, segregate the large from the small pool. And that's really a safety factor. If we're gonna do a multi-pool, state requirements is that we have the kiddie pool fenced off.
Yeah.
So there will be a fence cutting in, but we can shrink the distance. We'll work on that. Yes, sir.
There's a fence between the two pools?
There'd be a fencing with some gate apparatus between the pools because you're not allowed to have the kids immediate access to a deep 8-foot pool without a lifeguard and that type of stuff. There's some stipulations we got to work through. I got you. So that's where we stand on the amenities around there with our pool. This would probably be a project that would go into late summer totality. The pool itself probably a 2.5-month project for construction or the planning as well as construction. And then once the pool is set, then we have a better idea of the expansion of the concrete, the gazebos, and that type of stuff around. So that's where we stand there. What we're asking for here is kind of like we did with the banquet hall. If there's an appetite for the board to authorize the cap number, and then like I say, we will bring back the contractual agreements. You could deny all the contractual agreements if you're not satisfied, and then that 650 just sits in the bank. But for us planning purposes, sitting with a vendor, sitting with a contractor, I would like to know what my cap number is from you all. So we're asking for 650 from our recreational reserve. So.
What did we approve last week?
We approved the banquet of $500,000, sir. We talked about
we talked
650.
pool too.
We did not approve the pool. No,
Okay.
sir. No, we
All right.
tabled the pool because you wanted a little bit more detail
I
on
missed
the positioning of it.
Somehow.
Yep. So we're good on the banquet, $500,000 cap. We were here and we're looking at the 650 cap. And I totally understand, Supervisor Dr. McLaughlin, I got you. I think, and this goes to a lot of other projects that are going to hit our radar. We're going to meet bandwidth saturation, but I'm confident that this project across the street with that team, under Nick, the other project across the street with the department, Sun Lake staff, Mike and the team over there, we're able to manage these two major projects as well as having the wastewater continue because that's going to be a separate contract. So I got you. We'll know when we're at saturation, and I won't take us down that path. We don't want to do that. So. That's where we stand. Any questions?
So I'll make a motion to authorize the district to spend $650,000 for the expansion of the recreation pool area? Did I say that correctly?
We're not spending it.
We'll just,
You're allocating the budgetary line item cap of 650 towards this project.
Towards the pool and the stuff that goes around it.
Yes, sir.
I'll second what I think he said.
Okay.
I mean, it's a lot of money, just for clarity. It's just an earmark in the budget so that Boz has direction. He'll have to bring back a formal budget amendment as well that the board will have to vote on. And if at any time the board changes, whatever, they could take it up then. But yeah, that's.
correct.
You're good.
Anybody
got the
second?
second.
He second.
Yeah, I know, second. I thought, were we gonna vote? Okay.
Well, we got to
Public
have
comment?
public comment.
Okay.
Anybody want to talk?
My name's Bill Messline, 4510 Calatrava. I remember attending a meeting where Horton, the builder, was going to build a pool for us.
That was potentially in his little communities that they were building. It would be a community pool for like the 100 homes that he said he was gonna build. it would have been the small one like you have over here at Magnolia Villas,
Okay,
not a full-size lap pool like we're talking here.
okay, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah.
But he is helping us with the amenities.
They're paying $480, $500 per house, per parcel towards amenities. So that money is going to counter some of this 650. Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, my other question is, I also remember if he builds this pool, eventually he wanted the district to take the pool over.
That was the initial discussion, sir. Yeah, that I foresee that happening in future, not this project for the 100, because he wants to go this route, help us build on many future developments may require a standalone pool that we may be asked to assume control of. So he doesn't have an HOA. He doesn't have that responsibility. That's nothing on the table right now, but we've been
Okay,
discussing that.
so we can discuss that another time.
We will when he comes to the next project, the next 100.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Thank you.
There was a mention, one more add-on. There was a mention about the metrics. Right now, the average is about 10%, a little bit shy of 10% of our current pool is down, maintenance, closures, that type of stuff. You heard about
Right.
what's going on. Well,
Uh-huh.
even though it's not down, it's closed. It's just because of not the age of the pool, but just the pool operations. When you have one pool, it shuts down, it shuts down. Also, to Nick's point, we have a 68, is that our number? 68 person cap. We do not have a system where if it's capped out at 68, and we do hit that a lot during the peak seasons, we don't have a system where you can look on your phone and say, oh, they're at 68, I shouldn't go to the pool. People actually come down, they see it capped, and we say, go away, and they never come back. The only way for us to expand that bandwidth is to create more space where we could take it from 68 to more like 300, 350 with this pool. And now you have the ability that for our 10,000 folks that maybe don't have a pool or community pool, now they have more ability to come. And again, it is by membership. This is not a free amenity.
Right.
So there's a recouping of money that will continue from day passes, pool passes, members, because now we're actually increasing the amenities here exponentially that we expect our membership to expand from our current as we message it. So I think
Right.
there's some revenue recouping that we'll get. There's some money coming in from our builders that are contributing to this. So while it's a 650, there's going to be a lot of that being recouped, thrown back into the reserves to balance the books.
Okay. Do we have to vote, or is this just a motion?
Motion, you got a motion, a second to vote, saying give me the 650 cap, and then we'll move forward. Yeah.
Okay. Call for vote.
Supervisor Norton,
Yes.
Supervisor Brooks,
Yes.
Supervisor Herrick,
Yes.
Supervisor McLaughlin, President Phillips.
Yes.
All right, thank you much. More for situation awareness. You've seen these around our great county here, all the major cities, definitely Lake Placid. Again, we are trying to find something that it's a draw for not only our residents, a photo opportunity, some community pride. And we've identified, this is just right out here, the backside of the community center along Edgewater. So you would see this every time you drive down Edgewater Drive. This is a local artist that's done the other ones that is willing to come here and do this for us at a small cost, a couple $1,000s for this. He would do this, and it basically is a background that'll be muted color. That's too colorful there. A muted color of Sun and Lake, the clubhouse, the 18th hole, that type stuff, and then more vibrant colors laying out Sun and Lake. I think it's one of those architectural features that would be a great place where people, when we do community events here, they'll by default go around the corner there and take a photo in front of the Sun Lake mural, I'll call it.
Where's it gonna go?
Right here on this side. There's a blank wall on the back side right here that's along Edgewater. Between that window and the window in the club, in the meeting room, there's a dead space wall.
Oh, he's gonna paint it on the wall.
Painting, that's going to be painted on the wall.
Okay, it's
That's
gonna be
actually on the wall. So that's the space. The other one, which I like the sketch of it. I don't know about the place based on what we're trying to do at our community center. This is driving, not community center, clubhouse. This is driving up to the clubhouse. There's that big blank wall on the left side of the clubhouse.
Right.
He made it more black and white to mute the colors down, but I think the aesthetics of that is not really what we want right there. subject to opinion. But that was another offer saying, well, we can do a vibrant color one here because that's what everyone does. Sebring, Avon Park, Lake Placid. It's a more vibrant color. If you wanted to take use of some dead wall space, that's a place where a lot of people come to, also a photo opportunity as they walk out from the clubhouse, a golf event. They could take a nice photo in front of there. This is the wall. If you walk up to our clubhouse to the left, the bushes would go away. He would consume that whole wall. So that's a future discuss. We don't need to discuss that. I'm just offering, this one's an opportunity for us to have a nice artistic statement, add some color to the environment here, add some community pride, and it's at a very minimal cost to a location that draws a lot of people for events. I think it'd be nice to have a little architectural feature over here. And it's in our operational budget. We have the funding for it, so we're not asking for more money. I just want to make sure aesthetically you guys are comfortable with that in the location if we move out with that. So subject to a discussion.
What's the lifespan of that?
It's painted with an acrylic, and then once the artists leave, our maintenance guys would just reapply the acrylic every 10 years or so. So it kind of is a sealer, is what it is. Yeah, and there may be some touch-up things. Yeah. Discussion. You don't like it, I guess.
I like it.
Yeah. I don't hate it.
You rather like the black and white one, or you like the colorful one? Huh?
No, I like the colorful one.
All right.
I do.
And like I say, the background, the 18th hole, the clubhouse, that'll be more of a muted color to make the letters stand out more.
I want to do a walkthrough.
You want, what's that?
I want to do a walkthrough outside of this meeting. Just go look at.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
so-
Yeah, we're not going to move out on this. I just wanted the artists to give us some renderings and stuff like that. So you guys want to think about it or talk about it, we can reel back on it and do it that way. All right, that's that. Let's talk let's talk trash now. So we're under a county contract. We are considered by the county be unincorporated. So we fall under the county contract for unincorporated. Right now, it's about $229, I believe. What I got there? $229 that every resident here pays if you have a trash can. If you have a trash can, you're commercial, you pay the same. If you have a bin, you're paying a separate vendor, not the county, a contract for that bin.
We don't have this. We don't have.
Oh. It might be a hidden slide.
Well, I mean, now it's too late. Just keep going.
Yeah,
Get us
yeah, okay, sorry. The way the county does the county trash assessment is it's a combination of the pickup to the vendor and running the landfill. So the only people in this county that pay for our county landfill, because they don't use tax money for pay for the landfill, is people that pay that $229. We, as the district, having over 4,500 vendor or customers, which is about half the county customer base, we are, in my opinion, inappropriately subsidizing the landfill when the other 100,000 customers in the county are utilizing the landfill, and it's on the backs of those paying the county fee of $229. And that's not really the initiative to get out. I'm more concerned because next year, as they reevaluate the contract, our 229, they've been very vocal about it. Our 229 will probably go above 400 for everyone. And that's because we only have one major vendor in this county. There's no other competition. And that person has given the county a very, very good deal for many, many, many years, even though they do uptick it every year. And that's just not going to be sustainable for that vendor. And they're going to put another bid out. They're going to try to do it. But any competitive vendor is coming in above 400 per year per customer. So because of that number being floated out there, because of that lock-in that we would be, this would be an opportunity if we wanted to go out on our own, collect our own assessment or fees to pay vendor, and then we deal with the trash on our own as a district. So it's not the county vendor. The county vendor does not want to deal with us. There's an outside vendor from Bartow, large enough scale, that wants to get into the Highlands County market, and this would be his way to get into the Highlands County market. The major difference is that Reliable Waste is the vendor. That company comes with the FEMA certification that this debris they pick it up. We wouldn't have to rely on the county for any storms moving forward. They're FEMA certified. They're allowed to pick it up. They get they get charges from FEMA. They can do that. So that's a great part of it. They also would be in the district 5 days a week. Everyone will have a trash day, but because of their system, they have a truck roaming around the district 5 days a week. So if you missed your pickup on Friday or Monday and you call us and say, someone didn't get my trash, I forgot to get it out, then I would call Reliable Waste, our guys, and say, hey, go by that house and pick it up. And they would do that. That is not available right now under the current contract. You got to wait a whole nother week. They still would do bulk waste. They still would do yard waste. No changes there. Once or twice a month, whatever the cycle was. So they're going to replicate exactly what we get right now. The biggest difference is they will have 2 dedicated trucks. They'll sit in our yard here. The drivers will show up and work from here, and they basically will do their thing. So it's an opportunity to get a large-scale vendor involved. We would collect the money either through on our assessment bill, or if we use the uniform method, people pay it, we collect it, and we pay them quarterly. So financially, that works out that way. My comparables right there is the lowest paying vendor right now. Sebring, Lake Placid, and Avon Park have municipal workers that collect their trash. So they have a department.
Yeah.
They have their own trucks, and they take it to the landfill. The county does not have that. They have a vendor. And a lot of these smaller mobile home parks, I'll call them, have their own system that picks up trash. Smaller vendors. But there's no one competitive enough to pick up 4,500 clients.
So the county doesn't pick up any Lake
They pick out
Placid?
some of the unincorporated area of Lake Placid, they do. Yeah. But Lake Placid proper has their own one truck and tools around there. So that's the comparable. Those are all this year prices. No one's saying they won't uptick. I know the county's going to uptick, but the other one's probably going to uptick. So I think we're in the ballpark. We'd be in control of the trash. The vendor works for us. We direct them. If there's leaks on the trucks, if there's problem with the trucks, I'm calling a guy. I'm not calling a middleman in the county. So it's a good thing. They put a 5% cap. Got it. That makes sense to me. So again, this is if we want to be in charge of that, this is a way to go. If we just want to fall under the county mandate, then whatever the county approves for higher rates, we just going to have to live with, and we're just part of that. We really don't have much of a say.
What is the cost?
Yeah, well, it'd be three. Well, right now it's 229. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not even showing that on there.
What's Reliable?
This would be between $300 to $350 a year. We would be closer to Avon Park's cost per resident. Yes.
That's what they're quoting?
Yes. Yeah. $27 per month is what they build it on.
What we paid this year?
We pay $229
$229
a month, a year.
So we're going to go up.
We're gonna go up.
$80 to $100 either way.
We're going up irregardless. We're going to go up. We're going to go up to a similar number if we went on our own or stayed with the county. It's just once we lock in with the county, the service changes. Better service here. Service changes, but if we lock in with the county, they have a structure of fee raises that we are just a small vote in that, not the determining factor. Again, for discussion, we would, other than getting this on the tax bill, there is no immediate need to vote on this or approve this, because this wouldn't start until 1 October of next year. However we did it. Because if you tell us we like it, do it in June, then I tell her to put it on an assessment bill or a special assessment, and that's how you'll pay it for the year, and then we pay the vendor. So there's no rush at all to do this. I just wanted, as we refine the number the county's going to give us, and they say it's going to be this, they're going to slow roll it as long as they can until tax time. You know that. So we're not going to get a firm number from them, but we'll be involved in those discussions. Once we get that number locked in, we'll be able to compare going out on our own.
Yes, ma'am.
Jenny Cecil, 5257 Pebble Beach. And that fee that you're talking about, Boz, that includes the landfill? Like there's not a separate?
They pay the landfill charges. Yes, ma'am. There's not
all right.
additional.
And does this include the cans that we have now or similar?
So we would buy out the cans from the current vendor at pennies on the dollar because they're old cans. The cans would stay as the cans start breaking out, aging out. This company provides us a new can that says Sun Lake on it.
Okay.
Yeah. That'll be built in. Now, if we wanted new cans all from the get-go for $29 a month, they would give us all new cans, but we don't need to do that. We'll just ride out the ones we have and start replacing them over time.
So the current vendor would let their name be on the cans that remain behind?
Well, they say Highlands County.
They say
Uh,
Highlands County, yeah.
They could say, no, we're taking all the cans up. That's a task that a lot of these industry guys don't care about because they can't get nothing for the cans. So
Gotcha.
Can't reuse them. So,
Yes, sir.
Hey, Bill Muslin again, 4510 Calatrava. A question. A lot of people have one cans, other people have two cans. Is this going to be one fee no matter how many cans you put out?
It's by can, sir. So right now, if the county, you pay $2.29, you're getting one can. You want more cans, you pay $2.29 times 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, no.
County-
Uh-uh.
We got two cans.
We have two cans.
Well, you have a recyclable can.
Yeah, but
Recycle.
it's not recycled, not even.
Yeah, they're not using it for recycle.
Yeah.
This would be by can.
Well,
And
how
also the
did-
new contract's going by can with the county, just so you're aware. You got a can.
Well,
Whoa.
we put two cans out, they pick up both of them
They will pick up both, yes, ma'am.
at the
But-
same price.
They do now.
Yeah, they
but he's
do
saying
now.
It's not gonna happen in the future.
Yeah,
So it
the
could
new
be-
county plan is going to they want to do a larger can because we have the smaller can. They want to do the larger can and one per person and times that by how many you have. That's what I'm saying. There's some county stuff that's going to come down the pipe that's going to force our hand either way.
Right now, for the next year, it's going to stay the
It
same.
stays the same. And no change. No change. You pay
Okay.
$2.29 on your taxes, it stays the same. You got one can, two can, whatever. As the county renegotiates, I'll bring that back to you saying, these are the new charges. It's going to be by can. Here's the numbers and that type of stuff.
Okay.
This vendor, it's by can. So you're paying $300, let's say, use that number, $300. You're paying $300 for one can all year long. They pick up every week. That's what the
Okay.
new vendor would do.
And we're going to use the same cans that we have now.
We would currently use the same cans till they age out and we'll replace them over time. Yes, sir. No cost, no additional cost
If
to
you-
replace them.
If you use two cans, is it going to be
It
$600?
would be 600, yeah. But that's how the county's going. It's going down that road. You're not going to get two county cans for $2.29.
What
next
about,
year.
But no additional charge for yard waste or bulk waste.
No additional charge for that. It's still one
But it-
yard waste a month, one bulk pickup a month, and then we pick up bulk as well. So,
so it's
Well,
going to be the
that's
same
true,
thing
huh?
with the new guy? For us, if we were to go to a new company,
Yep,
it's going to be per can.
be per can. Yes.
And they won't recycle, they're just,
They
everything.
they don't recycle. No one's recycling nowadays. Yeah.
But
They
the-
offer it, but that's a
currently
bigger
we
cost.
get- Currently, we get
Two cans.
every other month, every other week. So you get two pickups of bulk, two pickups of yard waste a month.
Yeah, they would do that. I'm saying they replicate what we have. I
Okay.
apologize, yeah. Weekly pickup, whatever we're replicating in yard and bulk, this company, Reliable Waste, will do. There's no drop in service. The only change in service is that they're consistently here in the week so they can adapt a little bit better. That's
Okay.
the only change.
I'm not so sure I'm happy with the per can deal.
Well, but you're not gonna have any choice coming.
Well, no, if we negotiate our own deal outside of the county, we set the parameters.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
we'll have that discussion. We'll have a discussion with these guys and say,
Yes.
Kim Ledoux, 2830 Monza. I just have a general question. Does this have any impact at all on the recycle center that you're negotiating at this point?
great point.
It is.
There would be probably an initiative that we would have to man that if we wanted a district recycle center.
Yeah.
I do not see the county continuing to man
No.
that.
Would
I say that, it's a county initiative. We're paying taxes for that. I mean,
would
we could argue that.
Would Reliable?
They would. We could. We just hire a person to sit there and they pick it up. Yeah, they would. They can do that, but not for residents. Centralized, they will do that. Not for residential. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow. How much more would that be?
I'd have to ask her. Yeah, we didn't talk about anything recycling other than we don't
That's a
want the
good-
charge.
That's a good point, though.
It is a great point. No, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, if we pull from that, you're right. They're not going to be as accommodating.
That
I'm with
vendor
you.
that's providing the people right now.
Yes, sir. Yep. So again, it's been noticed. we have the ability, but we don't have to put it on tax bill. So we've met some, criteria, but we definitely can have this discussion as we get more information from the county.
Okay.
Nothing more than the 25Ks. It's all within the budget, nothing out of the norm there. Paying our credit card, paying our insurance, paying our meters, paying our county benefits. So nothing with that. Nothing out of the norm. You still have the golf minutes in your packet. I did not attend the last meeting. And the only thing that I'm doing, sitting down with Mike, we talked a little bit about it, we got to talk more, is a couple supervisors noted they didn't really change much on the golf rules. We're going to red ink that and ask for some submissions, send it back to next month's golf committee, let them look at it and bring it to you guys for final approval. I don't need their approval on it, but I want them to see what we're redlining.
Okay.
And then we'll bring it back to you since you're supposed to vote on the final rules for the golf. And we're addressing the concerns about golf carts, singular golf carts, all that type of stuff. So we'll clean that language up, push it back to the golf committee and bring it to you guys.
So we'll see it when? Next
See,
month?
December, you'll have it. After the golf meets the first week, we'll bring it to you at the December meeting. And then I'll turn it to our if any three departments have anything to add. Yep.
Good afternoon. I'll be quick. So recently, Boss and I attended the Central Florida Regional Planning Council meeting. This was Highlands County plans for their 2050 plan. It was a pretty cool meeting. Pretty much they are talking about, what does 2050 look like for Highland County for transportation, for development, mitigation, things of that nature. Boss brought up the idea that we should do it here in Sun and Lake. So we are planning to do that. We did reach out to the Central Florida Regional Planning Council, and they'll let us know when we'll be able to do that so that Sun and Lake residents are able to have a hand and a say in on transportation, what it looks like in 2050 and so on. Back in March of this year, we had a resident who was killed, unfortunately. Her name is Frances McCullen. And pretty much from that, we had a discussion a few weeks ago about public safety. And from that discussion, they plan on having a committee, so public safety committee. They plan to attend the December meeting to kind of outline what that looks like, constitution, bylaws, with some of the ideas and plans that they want to implement. That is including grants, including conversations on complete streets and public safety within our community. And then last but not least, the FERDAP grant for the playground, the $200,000 that we've been trying to get for a while, that is now in process. So it takes a month for them to give us the money. And it may be an early Christmas present in December. So just wanted to put that out there. That's it.
You guys approve committees, just so you're aware. This is citizen. They want to, a bunch of citizens want to get together, offer an idea to the board for consideration. So don't think they're just building their own committee trying to give us bylaws. No, this is about the public. This is about the resident that was no fault of the district. It was a negligent driver, hit her driving a bike on one of our roads, totally between them two. But it stirred a discussion of how we dress bike lanes, safety, that type stuff. So I like the initiative of the citizens wanting to do something to help us out as a district. And we'll see what they present next month for your consideration.
Okay.
Anything else? Rest of the team, we good? We're good here? Go ahead. What you got?
As you know, the district sends employees occasionally to participate in Leadership Highlands. I was fortunate enough to do Leadership Highlands last year with my teammate, John. So this time, during these sessions that we go to Leadership Highlands, there is a government session. And during this government session, each entity from around Lake Placid, Sebring, the county, they inform us on some of their workings in their government. Special districts have never been involved, and this year is the first time Boz has been invited to participate in this breakout session for Leadership Highlands to introduce all the students to special districts, and we're excited about that.
Good.
Good.
Very good.
We'll tell them what the deal
I got-
is.
We'll tell them what to do.
I just got a couple of things, if I can ask. Woods and Iron expansion, where are we on that?
We have the two bids came in, about $80,000 for completion. We're ready to start executing. We just got to get, we got to pick the vendor. Yeah.
Okay. Out here on Edgewater, we did that speed bump
Speed
without the bump.
Yes, yeah,
That's been about 3-4 months?
yes, sir. We got to get excavation point back. They've kind of put us on the back burner. I got to get them back. Yeah, it's part of the contract. They were just, it's not a properly built one. So we got it. Yep.
Okay. Last meeting, there was a conversation about a flooding problem on Cantoria. Has that been addressed? Ditch behind the house is flooded.
We're doing one
I don't
off
know,
of
I'm just-
Kansas.
I just want to make sure we're following up with these people. Cantoria, somebody said there was a problem. I know Boston, you've addressed. And then there was an issue.
Isn't that where you went with the
Yeah.
excavator?
Yes,
and did-
yes, we have. I'm sorry. Yes, we've addressed that. Yeah.
So Cantoria is fixed.
Cantoria, Matanzas, and Boston are works in progress right now.
Okay, Monza, well, no, I'm sorry, just not Monza. Somebody requested a pickleball fixing of the courts maintenance be added to the next agenda, which has not been added, but are we okay on the pickleball? I mean, this is what the lady requested at the last meeting.
So at last night's open public session concerning recreation, no one talked pickleball.
So everybody's cool on pickleball.
Well,
I think Kim was here.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody said it. I mean, is Kim here? Are you okay on pickleball now? Since you brought it up at the last meeting.
Kim Ledoux, 2830 Monza. I can't say that I am because I feel like there's not a lot of communication. So like I'm told through multiple people, yep, you're going to put up the wind screens. Nope, you're not. Yep, we got a wind sock coming. Nope, we're not. We don't really know where. And then the little shack or building or whatever you're going to put in for membership, you know, there's sort of rumors going around about that. It's like, what is going on, I guess is the point. And how do we get communicated about all of those things when we're all still trying to play? Last night I went over, 2 nights ago I went over. The light, this is a separate issue, but the lights weren't coming on because of daylight savings. They're timed the wrong way. So somebody knows how to override that, which they did. But it's just sort of general maintenance, things like that. There's not a lot of communication.
All right, so to that point, Nick Tasker, he'll put together a summary of all the initiatives that are going to be ongoing very quickly and in the near future. And he'll definitely address the immediate concerns of that. I'll get Nick to push that out. It'll be on the district website as well as an email to those that are on our membership list. So
Great.
we
Thank you.
apologize. We'll get that word out to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
One more thing, on the golf. You guys sent out the type of rates for October? It's in the package?
Yes.
So, I hate to do this. I want to congratulate you guys on increasing.
Oh, wait a minute. On it, please get
What?
that for the record, please. For the record.
I mean, you raised the average rate like 17% over the year before in October. So I congratulate you on that. But I just got a couple of questions. The shotgun league rates, there's a range here on this paper. We don't really change the rates on leagues, do we? Or do we? I don't know. I'm just curious. Are the rates going to change up for leagues?
Well, seasonally, yes, but they don't change they usually aren't going to change on a weekly basis.
Well, it says 30 to 35. It's never really going to happen, is it?
No, you're correct. Probably not a lot, but no.
Okay. then I mean, just a couple of digs, just to be, a weekly league rate for October, there was 35 people playing. What kind of league rate is that? I mean, what kind of participation is that for a league?
I'd have to go back and look. You said it's the weekly one? I don't have it in front of me.
It says weekly league rate, and it said rounds with 35 rounds
Right, so-
for a month.
So that particular group or league, a lot of them are just starting now. So they started towards the end of the month. So
I
they
mean, it
might
should
not
be
have played at the
somewhere around
beginning of the month
120, 130 rounds, right?
if they played for the whole month. But a lot of those groups, their folks are just coming in late October, early November, so they might not have started. They might have only played one time.
Exactly.
I'm sure we'll see a difference on the next one. One last question. Do we track our performance when we offer discounts in advertising? Do we track this? This is run now for two months in the Heartland Living magazine.
Sure.
Do we know if this is performing?
It's, I don't have data for you, but there's not a lot of those, no. There's a few, but not a lot.
I mean, obviously there's a cost to this.
Yes, we've had discussions, Jamal's got the task, we've had discussions with any of these, the magazines we're dealing with. We need to have a metric that they provide us of the reach, feedback. That's an ongoing discussion. Specifically, you're talking about unless we're offering a discount code or a QR code or something?
No, it says 50% off rack rate before 2 p.m. up to
Okay,
4
so that's
up to
something
4
that
p.m.
he can dig into the metrics of to see if we're.
I mean,
getting
because when you, on this breakdown that you've given us, there's nothing that indicates we got anything from this.
All right, we'll follow up on that. I mean, that's a big thing for me is the value of the advertising. Bang for our buck. We're gonna dig into that. Yes, sir.
Okay, is this something that's going to be ongoing, 50% off?
That's
Huh?
We stopped that one because
You
they're not
stopped
giving
this?
us metrics.
I mean, I think it's good to advertise in the magazine. I'm
we
not
can.
sure at that, with
Yes,
that
sir.
kind of discount.
We're looking.
The only reason I know is because it was brought to my attention.
Yep.
By a member.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else from board?
I got one white.
Go ahead, sir.
I got a white elephant. What is that?
Yo, there, look at that. Totally apologize.
I was asked about that.
So, you all authorized us to purchase a few vehicles in the district. We were allocated $30,000 to buy a sedan for our permitting, our code guys to tool around the district. After some analysis and some assessment and the compactness of our district as well as what we were really needing, we went the route with an electric vehicle. So not only is it 1/3 the cost of the $30,000, it's going to be 90% less in the operational costs, and it answers all the needs that we need for a person to run around our district, check on permits, do code enforcement. It's got AC, it's got heat, it's got GPS, it's got all the features to be on the road, goes 30 miles an hour, I think. So fully safe, and it answers the need rather than throwing all that money at a sedan. I don't need a sedan if I can get my guys and gals around in something like that. So we're actually doing a naming test. There's a tradition up north, Wisconsin, where when we get the new snow plow, all the kids try to name the snow plow. So we're doing an initiative in the district to name our little white vehicle, the REV, the REV. And that's an ongoing initiative right now. We're getting some feedback. We'll put a little label on there. This name is XYZ, whatever. But I think it's a good cost saving. It's an innovative way to do it, and it gives a safe way for my guys and gals to get around and do their jobs in the district.
We bought 2 of those?
We bought one of those. That's
One
it
of
right
those?
there. It's just an amped up 4-season golf cart, basically. We could take you for a ride. Yes, a 4-seater, beautiful ride.
No, I don't.
So
No.
this, how's the price compared to the Green Gators? The Green little
Gators are
things?
twice that amount.
Twice this?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, not air conditioned,
Okay.
not all weather.
Did we buy outfits for the guy who's going to drive it?
What do you want them to be?
Ice cream man or something?
Okay, yeah, I got you. I got
It
you.
does look like a clown car.
I mean, how much did it cost?
12 grand.
That cost 12 grand?
Yes, sir. No. Well, if we take it outside of Sun Lake, we would. We don't have it now. Yeah, it's street legal in Sun and Lake because we're a golf community. If I took it across the street, I would have to get it licensed and everything. But it was an initiative that we wanted to find some cost savings because I don't need a sedan sitting there that's eating gas for Galena to go check on a permit a half mile down the road. And that-
Did it include the charging station?
Yes, that's it. There's a plug in the back.
The plug? I mean,
Just a plug.
don't you have to have a free,
Nope, just a regular plug.
regular plug?
Yep. Yeah. So it's an initiative, so I apologize. We just wanted for folks to see it, look inside. But yes, we will start with that one, and if we need to add another one, we'll add another one, but that's next year. So
Any other business?
that's all we have, ma'am.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.
So why is Sustainability Partners here?
There you go.
Why is
We always get
Sustainability
lucky.
Partners here?
Yes, sir. I know you. I know you.
Oh, but the
100%.
other